We good to go? All right, we're back. We got Ralph Tutela.
Hello.
Did I nail that?
You did.
I fucking nailed it. So we're working back that way. New for the first time, MICAH.
Good to be here.
An aspiring podcaster.
Oh yeah.
Comedian? No, maybe one day.
Strictly listener and watcher.
That changes,
I
doesn't
should
it?
switch to that.
Yeah. That's every comedian that's trying to be a comedian right now is doing the same
Anyone
thing.
who leaves the door open
Just
at all.
observing.
And Popeye as usual, and myself. So
I'm just Popeye.
Ralph's new, man. Ralph's new to the area. So we were just hanging out the other day over at Bobby's house.
Yeah, he roped us into working on that truck.
He tricked us. Bobby's another local comedian. Bobby tricked us with food.
He did.
That always works.
He tricked us. What did he do? He smoked a pork shoulder.
But he smoked it in the back of the house. Nobody saw it being smoked.
Yeah, there was
He kept going to the back, and he was like, I'll be right back.
He kept going out the back door of the garage. He was like, I'll be right back. It's almost done.
And nobody ever saw the smoking process.
It's never even a smell.
No.
There was no smoke coming from over the house. Nothing.
No,
It was just,
right? All of a sudden, it was just in the kitchen. He was like, the meat's in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's like, it
had
came
it
through
delivered.
another door.
Yeah, right?
It didn't come through the garage like he did. But yeah, so there was a mystery meat being smoked, possibly a neighborhood dog. We don't know. It was good though.
It was good.
It was really good. He was like, it's almost done. He's like,
Don't
you
ask.
want to eat it now or 30 minutes to perfection?
He talked it up so much you couldn't say it was anything except for fantastic. It would have been awkward.
Yeah. So it was good. But so we were over there, and but I'd met you before. We met
Hard Hat.
Hard Hat open mic doing some.
Oh, just sitting around being spectators, and then decided to get on stage.
I missed that mic. That mic was fun.
It ended abruptly.
There was some racism or something.
Somebody was throwing some words around. We know there's some controversial words out there, and somebody in the establishment. Something happened, and it all
the fucking
ended quick.
bartender.
Yeah,
We could say it. I mean, she's not there anymore.
Did she get fired?
She got fired, and the mic is down. So I mean, we could definitely talk. I mean, I wasn't there that night though.
No, and Victor, from what I heard, Victor shut it right down. That's what I had heard.
Yeah, Vic jumped on social media right away and was like, "I can't be associated with the bar."
Yeah,
he did the right
was like-
thing.
he was like, I'm separating. I'm out.
I think the bartender went at it with a comedian.
Yeah, somebody she kept saying something on the stage. Like
It's
Well, what
crazy
happened?
enough. It's crazy enough being like an open mic, like you're trying to test material, and it sucks getting a heckler anyways at an open mic, let alone the bartender who won't fucking quit, like who just won't let up.
Yeah, you got enough. I mean, you're already nervous enough. If you've never, I mean, a lot of people have never done it before, and they're sitting in there and they're already nervous. And then if you have any type of controversy like that around you, let alone a bartender, yeah, like you said, just keep saying stuff
Fuck,
over and over.
I'm not going up. Don't call my name, Vic. I'm out. Take me off the list.
Do you scratch your name off the list sometimes?
I've gone a couple times and changed my mind at like Naked City or just depending on myself. Like sometimes I'll go and then it'll run late and I'll be late and then I'm like, oh wait a minute,
Never mind.
I'm fucked up now. Like I smoked a bunch of weed and I've drank too much, and then it like throws you off your game. You know, like that's part of the learning process. I was like, try not to get fucked up before you go on stage.
Yeah, I don't drink before I go on anymore.
I don't either. That made that a rule because I was with, do you know John Hine?
Yeah.
With the puppet? Have you seen the bird?
I've seen,
Have you
but
seen the bird?
Have you seen the bird? He's got a bird. He's got a puppet. He's a puppet comedian. And me and him were there, and we got there early because that mic started at like 9 or 10. I can't remember. But whatever it was, we were there like an hour and a half early. And we were drinking shots of whiskey. And then some other people showed up, and we like started smoking. And then Vic was like, "Oh, you're third," and I was like, "No, I'm out.
I am not third.
I am not third, maybe
Cancel that.
last, but I am." Next thing, I fell asleep in the car, and then like when some of the other comedians were leaving, they're like, "Dude, it's over." I'm like, "Oh my god."
they were chanting my name once in the rebar, not because they wanted me, because they were just like, where the fuck's the next comedian?
Yeah, you were down the
And-
alley.
Yeah, and
Find you.
I was in the alley smoking, and I heard them chanting, and I was so high, I was like, "There's no way I'm getting up on that stage right now." And then, like after like every comedian after that, guys were coming out, and they're like, "Hey, they called your name." I'm like, "You think I didn't fucking hear that?" Sitting back there.
That's so brutal.
What's the language around here? Is it like I dropped 2 F-bombs, and I can
Like
swear,
right now?
I can swear.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I won't go out church Sunday on.
I cuss like a fucking sailor all
Yeah,
the
he's
time.
fucking good, right? Popeye's the language police.
He'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He usually throws things at you. He was on the
I
phone
make a
today.
point of it to go on stage every time now, though. If I go in the room, I really try to tell myself, you got to get up there. You
Gotta get
can't-
up
You
there.
can't dodge any of these mics. You need that thing in your hand as much as possible.
At first, when I first started doing like open mics again, I was like, I don't want to go and do the same shit twice at the same mic. But then it's like, fuck, you have to. There's no way around it. Like, you got to polish that shit. If
You got to polish it, right?
if you think you're delivering it right the first time, you're wrong, no matter what it is. Unless you're Dave Chappelle and people are just gonna laugh because you're up there, you gotta fucking tell
Yeah,
it
you
five
say
different
hello
ways.
and the room erupts.
Yeah, hey, you light a cigarette and everybody goes nuts. It's like
Yeah.
fucking. You watch those super like celebrity comedians and you watch that shit and you're like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've been working on a lot of stuff lately, some bits, and saying them over and over again. It's hard, right? And especially in open mics, because you're seeing a lot of the same comics.
Yeah.
So it's not even like you're just telling the story over and over again. You're telling it to the same people, waiting for them to laugh. They didn't laugh the first time.
Yeah.
Right? And then you just keep hammering it out in front of them. But I think the comics in town do a good job of laughing at your delivery, if not your material.
Yeah, or at least letting you know it's good.
Yeah, at least letting you know you've made progress.
Yeah.
If you made progress, they'll give you chuckles and,
Open mics are tough, man, because they're all comedians.
Yeah, they're fun. I guess, I don't know. I've only been here 9 months. I've been in town,
Yeah.
right? So I'm still, I do the open mic scene, but I'm a very aggressive human being,
Yeah.
right? So I just started, I started my own show, right? I went down to the Mint, and because I couldn't get stage time, there was no way.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a storyteller. There was all these things in my head. And I said, how am I gonna move faster? How am I gonna get up the line quicker?
Newtown,
And everyone's
yeah.
like, oh, put your time in. I'm like, yeah, that's one way, right? There's always another way to skin a cat. How else can I do this?
Yeah.
And I figured I'm good on a microphone. We'll get in. I've worked microphones all around the country. I just haven't done stand up.
Yeah.
And so I just said, all right, fuck it. I'll host my own show, and then I'll just get comics over. And then I get to just host and practice in between them. I just hammer out some minutes in between.
So that's a monthly thing over at the Mint?
The Mint, it's a monthly thing. And right now, I get so excited. Some people don't talk too much, Ralph, right? I was telling you, I went down to, I've got a meeting with a lower end
Yeah.
casino on the boulevard for a twice a month show.
And that's
down
on,
there.
right? Is that a green? That's
That
green light?
is, they want to meet the other person involved with me. We're all going to sit down and talk about vision, and we're going forward. So that's going to be starting in July.
That's a book show or an open mic?
That's going to be it's going to be an open mic is how I'm going to start it. And,
Okay.
and I love the rooms. Yeah, when I go, I love rooms. The Mint is where my show is next week, and I loved the room. I was literally just having a Boulevardier.
Yeah.
Was the name of the drink, and it was it's strong. I'll tell you right now. If you want to get fucked up in 2 drinks, I'll go down
Drink
and
2 or
grab
3 of those.
Right.
What is it called?
A Boulevardier.
Boulevardier?
Right. It was like whiskey. I'm not a big whiskey.
Okay.
It was full of whiskey. But I was sitting in there and I'm looking at the room this would be great for a comedy show. And I emailed Todd right away. Sitting in the room, I emailed him.
There's sometimes you walk into a room and you're like, oh, this is good.
This
is good.
fits my personality.
It's got a good flow to it. Even the decoration, it could, like you said, fits your personality.
Yeah.
100 comedians can walk in there and not see it, but the right guy walks in and is like, okay,
Oh, this is my
this
room.
is something. And there's been a lot, even the 9 months you've been here, there's been a lot of come and go rooms.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, the what's it called on the...
I love stages. I've been noted the rooms that stay always have a stage.
Yeah.
The Jackpot's got a stage, right?
That's a great room.
The Dive has a stage.
Dive is
right?
good.
The Rebar has a stage.
Yeah.
All these ones that are staying and getting a following normally have a stage.
Yeah.
The Baja, you see it struggles, right? No, nothing.
I never went to that one.
I went
And
a few
it's-
times. It was a fun room. It was a fun room to play, and it's coming back in August, I guess. But
Because I think he said, who runs that one?
Adrian Gaston.
Adrian, yeah, okay. I haven't made it over to that one. I barely make it over to Dive Bar even.
Yeah.
I always go to John's and I go to Rebar. And like I said, I used to like Vic. Vic runs a good room.
Yeah, I think that the Dive would be really good to practice stuff you've never practiced before because no one's listening.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, man.
Nobody can hear anything you're saying.
You've
in the
been to Dive Bar, right?
Yeah.
On Maryland?
So you
Dive
can
bar.
say anything, right? It does. Not even the comics can hear you. You could get up there and just run through a bit.
I've never been to the dive
Just
bar
to get
for a
comfortable.
comedy
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Just get
Only
comfortable
for
saying it.
shitty punk rock shows.
There's a lot of those there too. And they do Raiders parties. They do a Raiders podcast out of there too.
Oh, they do everything.
Yeah. Have you been there?
No,
Oh.
but I've heard about it.
Okay.
It's just all.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff there. But like the Dive Bar is funny because like you said, I like it because when you go to Jackpot, you have to go into the separate room.
Yep.
With Dive Bar, you're not in the seperate room. So whatever.
Do
you
they
walk
do
right
they
in
set up the comedians right in front of the door in the dive bar?
No, you got to walk in and go in. You go in a little ways.
Because when I remember going to see punk rock shows, they were just like right. You come in the door, you almost trip over the band.
Was that the old location by Walmart?
No,
That was on Maryland Parkway?
in Maryland. In Flamingo.
You walk in, there's a wall right there, and you can go around it either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And then there's a stage.
Like you go to yeah, there's a little wall that, and you go back behind it. I remember I was testing the crowd, the bar, the bar customers, and I said something to one of the people at the bar, and I was like, there's no way they're listening, and I like threw a fucking little roast at him and shit, and he's
And
like,
it's the one time that
yeah.
they listen.
And he was
yeah.
like, hey, fuck you, man. I was like, oh, they're listening. Shit, okay, they're live at the bar, and yeah, that's funny. Randall runs that one, right?
Yeah.
It used to be Alex.
Yeah, Alex, just Alex.
And then I don't know if he handed it over, but he started hitting the road. He went on the road a lot.
Yeah, I've been, because I watch a lot of these guys on Facebook, not because I like any of them or vice versa.
Yeah.
But you see who's up to what, right? And,
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been bouncing around, I see.
That's crazy, man. So what made you move here from Boston?
I came here from New Hampshire. I left New Hampshire a couple years ago. I got divorced and said fuck it. I was sitting back in New Hampshire. I'd been working human services for about 8 years. I worked in a nursing home for 5 years as a activities director, social service director.
It's a good room. A good room to work.
I'll tell you what.
That's all I was just gonna ask.
You know what? I wish I could get in touch with that feeling again because they, like, when you do your bit in front of a room full of Alzheimer's patients,
Yeah.
right, you can just keep doing it. They
Yeah.
don't, and they don't care. And I used to love the Alzheimer's patients because I'd fuck with them.
Yeah.
Like there was a lady, Irene. I would come in every morning and I would be like, "Time to get up, Irene," and she'd be like, "Nice." I open up her curtains and and I'd be like, I'll see you in a few minutes. Get ready. And I'd go outside and I'd come back in and I would do the same thing like
Oh my
3
God,
times.
what a dickhead.
Until she would be like, "What the fuck?" And I said,
Super trooper.
"Early onset test. You're all set. It's gonna be a good day, right?"
You
like
fixed
that.
her. You
Yeah,
fixed
and I
her.
used to love to mess with them. And then I went to juveniles and I worked with juveniles for a year, and then with drug addicts, and then I got divorced and hopped in another relationship too fast, and everything just kind of stopped, just stopped abruptly. And I said, "What are you gonna do?" And I literally got in my car and I drove for 5 days. I went to Atlantic City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. I was taking pictures everywhere, and I had no idea what my plan was.
Yeah.
And I ended up with a carnival down in Kentucky. And,
Really?
Yeah, and so I actually ended up at like this gay rave whitewater rafting weekend. It was like this weird
That's
thing.
coming up. That's coming up out here. I've seen it advertised on Facebook. That's coming
I
up.
believe
You're
it.
gonna go back round 2?
Well, I was in Kentucky, and I went camping, and like all of a sudden it just got flooded with all of these. It was all this gay rafting group, and there was a lot of other people there too. It was kind of big, and I had so much fun that weekend. I was just drinking and smoking and just relaxing. I'm like, I have no idea what's in store for me.
Yeah.
And I remembered when I was in my early 20s, I had traveled around the country. I always remembered it, but I remembered how it worked. I traveled around the country with a carnival, and so I got to see everywhere and make money at the same time. So I said, "Fuck
That's
it,"
actually pretty cool.
and just started
Carney?
calling
Yeah, that's
carnivals.
nice.
Yeah.
And I just started calling carnivals. So I left after a divorce and losing everything I had built for like 10 years. I spent pretty much the first 3 months swinging a hammer in Kentucky because I had the high striker game.
That's
where
the
you come
test
up
your
and
strength
you,
in the
yeah,
ball.
you test your strength.
Nice.
So you hit the bell, and if it and you win the prize. And that's what I did. I was just out there yelling. I won't yell into the mic with that voice, but I was a barker, and I just went off. And for 3 months, I yelled and swung a hammer.
Step
Are
right
carnies
up.
really as creepy as they look? Is the question.
Carnivals are like me and my brother talk about this. I've never seen an accurate depiction of carnival life. I've never read it. I've never seen it. I saw one
There's
that got
no
a lot of
documentary
credit.
on like. There's no documentary on like carny life.
And there was one that got a lot of good press, but it wasn't true. It was based off of a guy who spent most of his time with the owners. There's normally only one owner.
Yeah.
Right? And then everybody else is a worker.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a whole different lifestyle. I've stayed in bunkhouses where like they were just terrible. They were terrible. You'd rather stay in your car. And some people say, well, why would you do it, right? Like, why
Yeah.
would you do it? And there's so many different reasons people join the carnival. Mine was a divorce, and I was like, I want to travel the country and get paid, and I couldn't think of anything else that would do it at the time. So I just said, fuck it. But some people from the law, some people just nomads, man. They love roaming around. A guy took me under his wing for the rest of the year. This guy Aaron. And it was like, I was a mess. I was out of 2 fast relationships, had been building a human services career for a decade, and it all just ended, and I'm sitting in a carnival in Kentucky. And this guy just comes up, and he's like, whatever. And it was pretty much what I needed. I was really like, yeah, whatever, right? Let's go.
Holy shit.
And I spent the rest of the season with him. And because I'm an idiot, and if you get to know me more, you'll absolutely agree with this.
Yeah.
I went back to New Hampshire for a minute and hooked up with one of those relationships again, and then I was like, oh, this is stupid.
One of the
And-
exes?
Yeah, and I was
Okay.
only up there for just a really short period of time, and then I just hit the road again. I went down to Florida, and then I really hit carnival life. And I started this year. What is this? What month are we in now?
June.
No, so last year. I ended up in Vegas last August.
Fresh off the carnival.
Yeah, but I started in January. I went down to Florida. I went to Palmetto, Charlotte. I played the
Still
Strawberry
smell like
Festival.
elephants.
Yeah.
Smell like what?
Still smell like elephants and hay and
Cabbage. Cabbage is the word I always hear.
The lifestyle is rough, but there are weekends or spots where if you're good, you can make thousands, like on a weekend,
Really?
right? Oh
Wow.
yeah, if you get a good state fair, and like I did a water race. I worked my way up to the water race. I got to the point where I was what I call the mic man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do any game unless it was a mic. And then I started looking on these carnival sites on Facebook, and I was picking where I wanted to go. I said, I want to go to Duluth. And so I went up and worked a mic in Duluth. I was like, I want to go hang out in Chicago. I shot over to Chicago and worked over
Same
there.
guys
for a bit.
owning the
No, I
carnivals?
jumped all
just-
over. I started going everywhere because I had a falling out with the owners of that company I first started out with. And then I kind of went rogue, and I still didn't know what I was doing, but now I knew there were carnivals. I knew I could do that. And I was so aimless. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And this was a year and a half, 2 years ago, right?
Were you expecting this, Popeye? Were you expecting
No.
this to go full carny?
no.
Well, we're at the carny part. I'll tell you, we can go down any.
But
No, I'm staying. I
But
like
now
it.
it makes complete sense.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, and so I practiced microphones all the way to Vegas. When I got a little further west, I knew I was coming here because I lived here before. I lived here for 10 years before,
Oh, okay.
and I had a moving company then. In 08, I left in 08 like a lot of people.
So let's get back to the Carney Network.
Let's do it.
So like you're in one spot and you said like you were on like what, social media?
Yeah.
And you say like, oh, there's a carnival up
Dude,
there?
I had so many fucked up stories in the carnival.
I haven't heard one. They've all been decent. Like, let's,
all
I mean,
right, well, here's one. I remember, jumping around. When I left, where was I? I think I was in Indiana somewhere, right? And the guy I was working for, I'd found this spot on Facebook, and
Yeah.
he was a total dick, right? And so I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to work for this guy. And there was another guy there. He's like, hey, can I ride out of here with you? Where are you going? I said, I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just going to go find another carnival.
Yeah.
This is taboo. You never take people out of the carnival. It's one of the reasons that the owners never want you to have a vehicle. Because if you have a vehicle, you can take off at any
can take
time. And
people,
even
yeah.
worse, you can grab like 5 or 6 employees and get out of there.
Oh,
Because it
shit.
does feel like you're trapped after a while. I wouldn't do it without a car. But and so this kid was like, hey, can you get me out of here with you? And, and I said kid, he was in his early 20s.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not cool, man. Like, it's kind of like and he was like, no, please, just drop me off towards my brothers. So I was like, all right, whatever. And so I dropped him off. I'm driving, right? And all of a sudden, this kid was like, he started turning on me, like got really weird, right? Like he was like, oh, that was it. I charged him gas. He gave me
Yeah.
like $20 gas, and I was like, all right, whatever, right? And because I'm trying to get to the next spot, I don't even know where
Yeah.
I'm going. And we start going. He's like, hey, actually, this is kind of on your way. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't even know where I'm going.
Oh, you
But,
wanted-
like, yeah,
you wanted-
whatever.
yeah, you
and
wanted
he
a
was like,
refund.
yeah, he was like, can I have my money back? And I was like, nah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, why? And so I'm bringing you to your brother's house. I'm in my fucking
Yeah.
van. I don't even know where I'm
Regardless.
going, dude. I'm not going to give you that.
Regardless,
You
That's
wouldn't have
your-
had an option if I wasn't here.
Yeah,
That's
right?
your
It's-
ticket.
So I dropped him off, and then that other guy that I was working for spread my name through some shit. He was like, he's out hijacking people. He's like,
Oh,
they wouldn't
shit.
use the
Oh,
word
no.
rescuing. I got, like, if you go on my Facebook,
Rescuing.
right? Yeah, because if you go on my Facebook, you'll see this kid. He's sitting there, Easter Sunday. It was Easter Sunday, and me and him were sitting there somewhere in wherever the hell I was. I was having to look on Facebook. And he's kind of like tear-jerked. He's scared. I was like, I'll bring you home, man. That's how it ended up. I'll bring you home. You give me $20, I'll bring you home. And then he turned on me. He almost like wanted to fight. His brother's coming out of the house when we get over on the other end. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. And then I'm looking on Facebook trying to find my next spot, and I see this guy tagging me like, this guy's
shit.
over here causing trouble. Like,
And
I
now
went
you're
over
not
to
even
your-
accepted
yeah.
in the carnival community.
I'll tell you one more that was even worse. Down in Florida, Strawberry Festival. You ever hear of it? It's a huge festival, like massive. And I don't even like telling this story, but I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Okay? Because so I'm in my
Ooh.
game, and at the time, I think I was doing the Nerf gun. I had just gotten to this show, and I'm hanging out with this guy, Rashad, who I traveled with. And this big guy, he's like 6'5", 350, no bullshit, is standing there with his arms crossed, staring at me while I'm talking to this lady in front of me. And I'm just kind of like, hey, I'm giving my spiel, my
Yeah.
game spiel. And I noticed this guy, so I kind of look over. I'm like, hey, everything cool? And he's like, oh, we'll be in a minute, motherfucker. And I was
Oh.
like, oh, all right. And I've got this lady and her kid in front of me, and I was like, all right, sorry about that, ma'am. And I'm trying to get back to my sales pitch, but I can't get away from this.
You're flustered.
So I look over, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it was like him and probably about 10 other people surround my game. And they're like, you're either getting fired or going to jail before this is over. And they're like, there's literally surrounding my game. Guys start running over. They're like, what's going on? And I'm like, I have no idea. And there's this one old guy, he's kind of blocking me from them. And I push him out of the way. I'm like, get the fuck out of my way. Because he was like too old and slow. I'm like, if anything goes down, he's going to, just move. And what they said was that their daughter had come up to my game and asked where funnel cake, like where to get funnel cake.
Yeah.
And that I said, I will tell you if you fuck me.
Oh.
Right? That was the story they were saying. Now anybody like
I will tell you
if you have,
fuck me.
it
That
wasn't even like if you have,
escalated
I didn't even smooth talk it, I guess, or nothing. I was just like, give me some, and I'll tell you how to find funnel cake, which is all over the place, right? Like, there's a funnel cake every 10 feet.
Yeah.
It was a scam, and these people do this in a lot of different spots. What they do is they'll go up, because to get one of the big prizes in a game, do you know how much that costs? It's about $200 to $300 to get those really big ones.
Yeah.
That's how much a guy's going to get out of his mark or his mooch. I don't do that kind of game.
Yeah.
But to get one of those big ones, it costs like about $300. So if you come and you make a complaint sometimes, and they're professionals, they do this at like a lot of different fairs, and they'll go in and they'll clean up on if a game has electronics in it or stuffed animals and.
What a crazy fucking
Yeah.
world.
So I got ushered out. And
The
they
sexual
got
assault
threatened. The police came and actually
accusation.
took them off the
That's a big
property.
deal.
For a
and,
stuffed animal.
Yeah.
For a
Well,
stuffed
and it was,
animal.
well, and that was in Florida. I spent most of the time in the carnival I spent in Kentucky. Like consecutively, that's where I was most of the time.
So the sexual harassment claims started in the carny world and worked their way up to Hollywood.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but the carnival life it's weird. It's really weird. You meet so many different people. You stay in the bunkhouse. So, like, where the games are? Like, here's a good one. The machine gun game where you got to shoot the star out.
Yeah.
On the
Okay.
back side of that is where they live.
Oh, really?
There's
Interesting.
bunks on the back side of those trailers. So if you go to the back side of any of those games and you'll see one that has all the doors down it, that's a bunkhouse.
So that's like the
It
stay
looks like
away
it's
from.
That's where they stay.
It
I'm
looks
staying
like
away
a-
from it.
You
yeah.
do not come
Like
onto
a
a
horse
carnival
trailer.
lot or go into that back area unless you've got probably a small army. Carnies stick together. Like if you get off and start roaming back there, like they're a mobile gang that take care of each other because they're nomad. They're like gypsies.
So okay, that's what I was gonna say. I bailed out a carny. Okay, and
They're not all good people.
no, this
But
dude
neither
was
is
this
anyone.
dude was like Romanian, and he was with like a group of other Romanians. And one of my lawyer friends, had referred to me, and I was like, oh well, they paid the lawyer. He's probably a good dude. I'll do it for a favor to my lawyer friend. A couple months go by, dude misses court, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's a carny. He could be anywhere. And so, long story short, he happened to be. The lawyer called his boss, and he's like, we're in Riverside, which is what's Riverside, like 3 hours away. It's like just down the
About
road.
3.5.
And so I grabbed my crew, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna go to Riverside and grab this fucking carny. And it was like 3 of us, and so we go down there. Buy tickets. Like, we're not looking like
Oh, yeah.
Dog the Bounty
With his
Hunter.
hair
We're-
going to Ferris wheel.
Yeah, exactly. We're just looking for him. I never even met him, so he
Yeah.
doesn't know who I am. And we see him. So I tell my buddy, I'm like, there he is. I'm gonna get behind him. You distract him. I'm gonna
Make it a
handcuff
plan.
him. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna take him down. Like raptors. Like you distract him, we'll come from the side. And so that was the plan. So
Jurassic Park.
exactly. And so my buddy starts talking to him, and he was like, said something to him. He's like, hey man, what the fuck you looking at? Like, like trying to get him off his game, because he was taking
Going in
tickets for
strong.
the fucking
Tilt-a-whirl or something.
the not the Gravitron, but the one that's like open. I don't know, but like
yeah,
spins
yeah,
really
like the
fast.
round up,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he was taking tickets for that. So him and my buddy started getting in. So I run up behind him and I grab him. As soon as I grabbed him, this fucking other carny, like, I don't know if he fell from the sky, but had me by the throat. Like, I'm by the throat, and I'm like, oh shit. And then before you know it, there was like 8 or 9 of them.
I'm
And the
waving.
3 of us were just, so finally my buddy was just like, boom, boom, boom. He shot like 2 rounds. He's like, fuck this. Everybody back the fuck up. And then even the local cops were like,
yeah.
they knew the boss, the carny boss. It was like,
Well, like the local cops. Here's the thing. There's certain games you can't win at.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot win at. One would be the bushel baskets. Where you gotta roll the ball and like get it in that like
that tilted
that
basket,
tilted
like leaning
basket.
for
You
it.
can't
Yeah.
do it. It's impossible. I'll let everybody know that. It's an impossible game. There is no way to do it.
Impossible?
Yes, impossible.
Actually
Even
impossible.
even if you backspin
What
it,
happens
or,
is there has to be, how does it work? I think there has to be another ball in it, and it's the only way your ball is going to stay. So what they'll do is they'll slip another ball in there and then let you practice, and you'll get it. And then when he's getting your ball out, he's going to grab that other ball out.
I'm
and
never
now
going
it's
to a
never going to be able
carnival
to get
again.
done.
I feel
now,
like
if you go to state fairs, look where the ATMs are. Like, if you go to some of these big fairs, you'll see the ATMs are right next to these games.
these like midway games.
I think local authorities are still getting a lot of money from some of these because a good, what do they call them? They call them agents is what they're called. I run what they call hanky-pank, which means you pay this, you're going to get this. There's no hustle.
Yeah.
That's the kind of games I run. But an agent runs what they call
Scams,
collections. They're
yeah.
called collections. So, like, you come up and you give me $10 for that first game, right? All right, $10, we're in. And now I'm going to run a collection. So now I'm going to let you keep playing, but I'm not going to take any more money from you. I'm going to keep that number in my head.
Okay.
Right? And then when we get to that certain part, I'm just going to hand you that prize and say you owe me $200.
No way.
Yes, you do.
Whoa.
Please put it in my hand right now. Right?
Can you do that?
And that's how they do it now. And they'll get people now. Now there's another level even beyond that, where people will try to gamble for their money back. And now these are probably agents. These agents are a dying breed. They're not out there as much anymore. But they will let you get to that point and then say, listen, and then they'll
If
got
you
a
get
new hustle
this.
for you. And then
Yeah.
they'll start gambling. And then you start gambling into the thousands. And that's why those ATMs sometimes are strategically
So you're telling me
located.
people have like lost their homes?
People have lost
Carney-
a lot of money in those.
People have been
Because they
beaten
couldn't
up.
put the ball in the
beaten
hoop.
up. That's
Beaten
well, and
up.
that's the thing. So if you talk to certain carnivals and you talk about certain routes, so you're like, where is Casey's Rides? And so I was, Casey's Rides was a good crew. They didn't run
Yeah.
any of those games, none of them. Not that any of those guys are listening to anything, but
Yeah.
they were a good crew, which is why I liked them. But you'll hear of certain routes, and they're like, don't go to that route. We beat them up. Right?
my
We beat them
goodness.
up. There's no more money left on that midway. That's why I got into the racing game. The ones where you roll the ball up, and if it goes in the thing, your car moves, and whoever gets to the end first wins whatever they want. I was just straight mic man, and there's a good reputation that comes with that. If you're a good mic man, and you don't have to fuck, and even the
Yeah.
owners were like, "Don't teach Ralph the shady shit." They'd be like, "He doesn't have the larceny in him," which I'm not saying is true, but I know I didn't have it like that.
That's almost a compliment.
It
Yeah.
was. It was, and I couldn't hit somebody for like because there were certain agents who were like, "You talk fast enough, dude. I could teach you how to get $2,000 out of someone," and I'm like, "I don't want to." Like I
feel like-
sleep very well at night, man. That's what I'm
that's
doing.
shady.
I mean,
right
I've
now.
taken my kids to the carnival a bunch of times.
Yeah,
I've
I
never.
just was at the.
And now you're not
the-
going to.
No, now I
Now
know
you're
I got to
done.
kick it
Yeah.
up a notch. Like
Yeah, I
I
was
got to
just
really
in
like.
Logandale at the state fair.
Yeah, like I gotta.
Like that just happened like
Yeah.
a month ago, month
Yeah.
and a half ago.
But I mean, I feel like we really got to go. Like we should take you and like kick it. This is like a whole separate YouTube series. Like, can you beat
Taking
the
a
games or
carny
no?
to the carnival.
You can. I can't.
No?
I can't. Nope. The only ones that can beat them are the ones that do it. I
the
saw
ones
a
that run
guy
'em?
in Florida once because that Strawberry Festival was huge. So there were like, fucking, I don't know, 100 carnivals down there. I don't know how many different crews were down there running games and stuff. And this one guy who was on not our crew but a crew we traveled with came back with like armfuls of stuffed animals. And he was like, I told them not
I
to call
told
me
these
in.
motherfuckers.
Like, because some people know how to do like the ring a bottle, things like that. The rigged ones you never ever ever do is the bushel basket, the tubs, right? You see the tubs, those tilted tubs, same thing.
Yeah.
There's another one. It's called the what is it called? It's like it's got a Coke bottle, right? You gotta like.
Oh, throw the rings.
the ring toss?
No, it's not a ring toss. You gotta roll the bottle down and like it was. I remember they called it the roller beef. That is what one of the ride jocks. That's what
Yeah.
they call it. He's like, there's the fucking roller beef, which meant every spot we went to there was a beef. Somebody felt they got ripped off because they had.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
every now and then, if somebody calls you out, you got to hurry up and give them something. Now, like we're talking here, some people know that. And so when I was in Florida, that's why someone did that to me. And luckily, everybody at that crew knew who I was, and they were like, "Oh, that's ridiculous," but like, there's a little war out there.
Does that happen here in Vegas too?
Well, Vegas the only carnivals in Vegas are getting ready for the road. You ever
Okay.
notice they're all here in like January?
Yeah.
Right, because they're getting ready for the road.
Because
Well,
like I
Vegas
feel like
is
that's
one
a
big
small town
carnival.
act. Like I feel like
it
Vegas
well,
is.
because they don't survive. They do parking lots out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. So like this is
There's a
something
lot
that,
more
like,
of the like Mexican tent
Circus.
Yeah, but and a lot of the
Circus is
circus
here.
stuff does come, but they're the same thing.
But no, we have the Eldorado Fair, does the
Yeah.
carnival, and then we have
Yeah.
like the JC State Fair, San Gennaro Feast. But Eldorado being the big one with the, full-blown carnival stuff.
Well, do those get a lot of foot traffic? Because here, everywhere is a performance.
Yeah.
There are games
See, but,
everywhere.
like,
There's gambling everywhere.
Logandale, the Logandale Fair is not here, but that's where all the locals go.
Yeah, Logandale.
But it's
That's
in
that
Logandale.
fair feeling,
Yeah.
right? Even if you because there are a lot of transplants
You ever worked
in
that fair?
Vegas, right? I don't. When I told you I had done the carnival one other time.
Yeah.
It was way back when, and I came out of Phoenix, and I joined up with a crew, and we went up through Nevada, Kalispell. I went up into Montana, Idaho. Probably the best year of my life, right? I traveled with this crew all the way to the end of Vegas, which is how I got here the first time.
And you just stayed.
And I just stayed in Vegas. That's,
Okay.
and it's kind of how it happened again. I've been to Vegas twice, and both were at the tail end of carnival trips.
Wow.
Would you ever go back on the road?
Only if everything gets all fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like my ace in the hole.
That's where he goes back to. Go
I
run.
Well, I
gotta
mean, if
ride
you
off into the
survive-
sunset, right?
If you survived Carnival Road, you're comedy road ready for sure.
I've hitchhiked cross country more than once.
Really?
I've hitchhiked cross country probably 5 different times.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
That was when I was younger. Then when I got older, I stopped hitchhiking.
We used to ride trains.
See, I didn't ride the trains because I didn't
Yeah.
trust those guys. They're fucking badass.
There's some hobo gangs out there that are nuts.
Yeah, the road, at least when I was hitchhiking, I normally had my brother with me, and we would hitchhike around. I had my sister hitchhiked with me for a bit. I got a couple of siblings that are just as crazy.
See, in the bail bond business, you're a fucking disaster.
Oh, absolutely.
You're a disaster.
Absolutely.
You could be in the wind. Like I'm like I already know. Like, don't bail Ralph out. I gotta text myself to remind him.
But I've always been like that. I've always loved, just running. When I was 18 years old, I got out of Job Corps, and I bought a one-way ticket to Hollywood from New Hampshire.
Nice.
And it was when the tickets, you could pull them apart.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was the old ticket. It would run around this whole room.
Okay.
Count each stop I was going to be in. And I
Really?
went out to Hollywood, and I climbed the Hollywood sign, and I sat in
Nice.
it and smoked a joint. And ever since I was young, I just knew I just loved adventures. I love
Yeah.
just being, and now I'm not as crazy. There was a lot of drugs when I was
Yes.
younger. Now
Uh-huh.
it's pretty much just THC.
Nice.
Dude,
that's insane. That's fucking crazy.
that's some fun.
I didn't even know we were gonna go down that road. I didn't know it was even an option. Like I remember you were telling me about the car, but I didn't think it was like.
I bought a
That
white
deep.
van. I bought a van and stayed in it. Like that.
Okay.
And that
I'm
blew
about
up.
that van life. That's fun.
I tell you
Oh,
what, that van looked like, like Jeffrey Dahmer was driving it. Like this thing is fucking hideous, man.
He had an old van.
I'm on my second van
His
now.
his second van's a lot more civilian-y, but his first one was rough. It was
It
rough
was
around
pretty
the
sketchy.
edges.
What was it?
It was a 91 Safari,
Oh yeah.
Like an Astro van.
but all black windows, brown van. Just
Did you have seats in it or?
No, I built a bed in the back.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was sketchy. I traveled around in it.
was-
I did California, Washington, Oregon.
And
Utah,
I mean, I
That's
tell you, if you get the
Arizona.
opportunity, it's
Washington
so
and Oregon.
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can
Don't
you
get
can go
any
have
ideas.
drinks and
We're
just fall asleep
contaminating
out in the vehicle.
This young brain.
Are you kidding?
You
This
can
is
have
what I wanted
drinks
to
and
do
just go to
anyway.
bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, like I slept in Venice one time, Venice Beach, and I just waited till late at night, parked right in front of someone's house. There was no parking
Yeah, where
street
do you
restrictions.
park to sleep?
Yeah, that's what you do. No, you wait till like in Venice, you wait for
I feel
it
like
to
you
get
get very
late,
little
about
sleep.
11, when people are starting to go to bed, and you cruise the neighborhood till you find
Somebody's house.
something that's not parking restriction.
Yeah.
You park,
You don't-
and
you
then you
don't-
never get out the van.
Yeah, you
You
don't
just
go to
get-
bed, you nap, you hang
Yeah,
out till
you
about
get
the sun
into the
gets
back,
up later.
you fall asleep. As soon as the sun comes up, you get up and get out of there, get back to the beach where it's free parking again.
Yeah. You ever gotten into any shit?
Like,
Just being on the road in your own van?
oh yeah, no, we can go down anywhere. I've lived crazy life, man.
Yeah.
I've gotten in.
What's advice you would give for people trying to do this? A young
to get
lady trying to
started.
do this. How do I do
I would
this
do it
now?
like if you wanted to do van life. If you were a young lady that wanted to do van life, I would do it with a friend.
That's
right?
I.
If, you
yep.
know, and,
Definitely
and,
not solo.
You know, yeah, I wouldn't do it solo.
What if you want to do it?
I had a pit bull.
That's tough.
I got a
I
pit
know.
bull, and she's still with me. I picked a pit bull up in
A
Georgia.
dog's a good idea.
This all
yeah.
makes sense. This is why I saw you playing the harmonica earlier today on Facebook.
I blow my harp, yeah.
Yeah, I seen that. I was
You
like,
should have known it all
yeah.
from the harmonica.
Just from there alone, I'm like, this dude's been on the road.
It all makes a lot more sense.
The harmonica came because the guitar was too big.
Too
pitch
big,
like
yeah.
that,
It's
right?
definitely
So I just started buying harmonicas.
and
and
a
keeping them in
recorder
my
would just
pocket.
be weird.
Yeah, right. I don't sound. Well,
See a hobo playing a recorder.
That's like, what's this guy up to?
The
you know?
harmonica was because I headed to New Orleans. New Orleans is probably my second favorite city outside of Vegas.
Okay.
And I headed there when I was young, and I've been down to New Orleans a couple of times, and I used to love to play harmonica down there on the Mississippi. And
Yeah, Bourbon Street.
Royal. I spent more time on Royal
Okay.
than I did on Bourbon, but I love New Orleans, and I can't wait to get back down there for, hopefully the comedy keeps going. I would love to get. I would plan a whole week around somebody giving me 5 minutes open mic, which I know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But if I could get anything booked down there someday or something, I just love New Orleans.
Really? I was down there once. I was young, but it was crazy because I was 15. I was playing in a baseball tournament. We went from here to there,
Yeah.
and I remember hanging out like in the strip club and drinking beer and shit.
At
like
15?
yeah, like
Come on.
the whole baseball team was. It was like fucking. We were
did that
walking
also.
down like in the French Quarters, and they just like called us in. Hey, come on in. They gave us a free drink, and next thing you know, we were there for like 3 hours. It was like crazy. It was like the
That's
Pinocchio.
ridiculous. That could never happen for me.
No, that happens, man.
New Orleans, it might.
Definitely that's what I'm saying. It was like the French Quarters. It was like, off season. It was like September, October.
Good time.
And it was just like a Wednesday morning, like 11 o'clock.
I probably have more crazier nights in New Orleans than I do. I mean, because I did some drinking down there when I was young.
believe
Have you
it.
been in New Orleans, Papa?
No.
Oh,
No.
it smells of piss in the morning. Like
Yeah.
like that's the first thing. Like if you were to start a day in New Orleans, it smells of piss down in that quarter. 'Cause
Yeah.
as they start to clean it up, and it's just.
It's disgusting.
But it is the Big Easy. It's like nobody cares. It's just like this really laid back. But when the drinking gets going, and I mean it's it's just because they drink a lot in Vegas, but down there it's just different. It's like on the porches. And,
Yeah.
like, even after you leave the quarter, there's just people
Well-
on the street corner like just hanging out, getting drunk, and
New Orleans, like and Louisiana, they have like spots you can pull up and get a daiquiri from. Like that's a
Yeah.
normal thing, like a drive-up daiquiri spot.
Yeah.
Drive-by?
It's a real thing. Like,
Yeah.
the music is unbelievable. Like it really is.
Jazz,
Yeah,
blues, all that
I
shit.
mean, that's why Royal. There was a guy, Jeremy Lyons, and I still follow him on Facebook and stuff. He's out in New Orleans ever since the.
Katrina.
I went down after Katrina and I did roadie work
Ooh.
for an '80s cover band called the Molly Ringwalds.
What were they doing?
They dressed up like
Pop 80s
characters.
stuff?
So there was the Karate Kid, and there
Oh.
was
kind of like the
Pee Wee
Spasmatics.
Herman, and they were
Yeah.
all dressed up like that, and they were a good band. They would do curtain drops. They'd get like 1,000 people at the shows.
Damn.
They used to let me get on stage and rile the crowd up.
Nice.
Right, and I remember once we were in Baton Rouge. Me and my brother Nick were both doing roadie work for him, and one of them comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, your brother just got arrested."
Oh, shit.
And I was like, "Oh, really? What happened?" He's like, "He was buying weed out in the parking lot."
Oh,
and
what
I said, "Oh." I said, "You guys gonna bail him out?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Well, what about you?" I said, "What are you talking about? I got
I'm not gonna do
you guys
that.
give me like $100 and like all the alcohol I can drink. I'm not. No, that guy's. What are you talking about?" And so they went and got him out. And I remember the next day, me and Nick were talking, and we were like, "What are they? I'm like, you fucked it up. We're probably gonna lose this job." Not that it was a great job.
Yeah.
But I remember the guy comes in and he's like, "I just want to tell you guys something. You guys are real rock and roll."
Nice.
I was like, "Yeah, all right, man." Like, and then he left, and I'm like, "All right, we still got our job. So
Still
be
got it.
careful out there, will you?"
Fuck, man. You just like the microphone, huh?
I do. I love
That's fun.
microphones, man.
Well,
I
I mean,
gotta
you're-
get comfortable. I gotta get more comfortable on the stage. That's it. Because I want to do it. When I came into town, I took a job as a tour guide on the
Yeah.
double-decker bus. That's and I still have that job. I don't do it as much. It's too hot right now.
Yeah.
But that was it. I was like, all right, I still want mics. I'm in Vegas and I'm hitting these open mics, and I'm like, I do my first one in Vegas. I had only done like a handful before I got here.
Yeah.
And I do the first one, and I'm like, you suck. Like, what the hell were you thinking? Like, you ran away, joined a carnival, came to Vegas to become a comedian?
Yeah.
You need to sit down and reevaluate what just happened over the last year and a half.
How many people can say that shit?
Send it.
Yeah, like, fuck, man. That's a T-shirt.
Yeah, all right. And so, but then I was like, oh, fuck it. And I went down on the boulevard. My buddy got me a job at Red Rock Landscaping.
Okay.
And I was like, they were like, yeah, just, be here at like, 3 in the morning, whatever time it was. And I was like, man, I'll never do mics if I do that. I won't.
Yeah.
I know me. I know that, I'm older. I'll get tired. I'll come up with reasons, all this shit. And so the day of, I felt bad, but I called that friend up and I was like, I can't take that job. I said, if I
Nice.
do it, it goes against everything I'm doing, man.
Yeah.
And
Good.
he was like, you know what, Ralph, I'm behind you. Go ahead, have at it. I walked right down the boulevard. I said, this is where I want to be. Who will hire me?
Yeah.
And literally the big bus like drove in front of me. I said, they might. And I just
Ding.
followed them. I literally followed them. And I was like, where do I apply? And I went down to the office and I said, if you guys don't give me a job, I'm probably going to end up leaving and join a carnival again.
Nice.
So please let me work on your bus. And he was like, what? And then we started talking. And so, yeah, I started
They're like,
doing
"Fuck
tours
it."
on the
Like, it's-
boulevard.
Do you know him? Do you know this guy? Like, you're lucky for you. Someone just died. That's fucking nuts, man. That's a crazy road to Vegas. I mean, I'm born and raised here. Popeye's born and raised here.
Yeah.
Nobody else that ever sits on that side of the table has been born and raised here.
No.
I think that's one of the crazier roads. I've never met a fucking carnival escapee.
You want to know the truth? The first time I came here,
Yeah.
I was AWOL from the Army.
See, fuck. This dude just is like.
AWOL.
But I mean,
Really?
like, this dude's like a fucking, like, if he was a dog,
Yeah.
he's a fence jumper. You know what I mean? Like, he's a fucking bona fide fence
That's got to
jumper.
crawl your skin a little, right?
Yeah, like, you're a fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
No, because I never committed any crimes that got me in real trouble. You know, like,
Yeah.
but the Army, I joined basic training.
Uh-huh.
And, well, I went in as a National Guard, and I went in at like 280 pounds, and so like I joined in New Orleans because
280?
280.
Wow.
you were
That's
that big?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's my size.
Oh,
Why'd
yeah,
you
I
wanna
was- I
join?
was big. Well,
Hold on a minute. This guy's been on a fucking amazing, like, lifelong cross-country journeys through, like, 6 of us. And plus, he's also done, like, lost 100 pounds through the process.
actually, when I left on the trip a year and a half ago, I was pushing 300 again. like
Shut
2
the
years ago.
fuck up.
And what happened was
Never would've
when I
guessed.
got on the road, I just stopped. I stopped eating.
You don't look like, he doesn't look like an old fat person,
No.
right? Like a used to be fat person. You
No.
could always tell, like, a used to be fat
Yeah,
person.
You know, I was telling someone this the other day, and it's true, and I don't think they get it. When I was on my way to Vegas, all of the jokes I planned on telling on stage that I had thought of in my head forever were fat jokes. pretty
Yeah.
much,
But then,
'cause I
but then
was
you
a
lost
fat
weight,
guy.
and there goes your
I
whole
told
show.
the first gym joke on stage, and everyone's like, "Why? That wasn't even funny." And I was
He's
like, "Wait,
fat
it
shaming.
was when I was sweating like all over the place."
Dude, what the, oh my goodness. So how'd you do the weight? What happened there?
This time here, I hit the road. I changed. I had what I called. I posted a video of me playing my guitar shirtless, weighing about 280 pounds, right in that area, and I'm just sitting there strumming. And I said, "I'm going on an adventure. Who wants to follow?" And I literally, I just, I was working in a nursing home, eating cookies for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, because if they'd come in, the family would be like, "Oh, Ralph's so nice to my grandmother. What
bring
kind
you
of cookies you
cookies."
like?"
Oh.
And I'm like,
I'm
"Oh,
gonna
I
give
like
him some
Nutter
treats.
Butters. Why don't we have
Yeah.
like some more double stuffed over here?" And so they would come in. Literally, families would come in with fucking cakes and cookies and like, "Come hang out with my mother a little more later, Ralph, if you got time." You know. So I went like I just kept putting weight on and on and on. I remember a buddy of mine looked at my wedding picture, or like before I got married, right before I got married. And he was like, "You've gained a lot of weight since you got married." And I was like, "Yeah, a little." And he goes, "If she had gained that much weight, you'd be fucking pissed."
You'd be out.
And I was like, "No, I would." So when I went on this adventure, I changed everything. I tell people, they say, "How'd you lose all the weight?" You want to know how? Sausages and soda. Right? I ate sausages and soda and popcorn and nachos. And,
Carnival
and,
food.
And I ate carnival food.
Carnival
and I
food.
lost about 80 pounds. You know why? The carny day is about a 14-hour day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out there. You're out there all
You
day
don't
long.
even notice you're
just-
not eating.
You're just out there all
Yeah.
day sweating your ass off. You know?
And you're only eating one sausage.
And,
a day.
and well,
It's a
no,
small
I'd
one.
eat because I had a goldfish game, right? I had a goldfish game for a while, and so like people would come up and I'd give the goldfish away like crazy. And so like if it was a really hot day, I'd be like, "Hey, come here." I'd call a dad over or something. I'd say, "You want that kid to have fucking fish in a tank?" You know, I'm like, "Get me a sausage and a soda right over there real quick. I'll let him throw a
Nice.
couple of balls. He's got a fish in a tank."
No
so I would
way.
just have my meals delivered to my game all day long, and I would just hand out like little prizes, and let the kids play.
Where does the carnival keep the goldfish?
Oh, I tell you what, keeping
Yeah.
goldfish alive was a motherfucker.
I bet.
And I used to hand out dead fish to kids all over
no.
Kentucky. Like,
Our pets' heads are falling
no.
off.
It's sleeping.
There's a comic. There's another
Sleeping.
comic
Sleeping.
who keeps telling me to do.
He'll wake
I've
up.
tried it on stage twice, and I come across as completely creepy
Yeah.
because I think that like they don't get what like keeping the fish alive was a motherfucker. I would get about 1,500 fish like shipped in,
Yeah.
and so they'd come in these boxes in a bag. And they'd be in the box in the bag. I'd open it up and I'd dump it into these big trash barrels that I already had chemically treated water in, and then dump them in there. But as it went on, it'd be so hot or moving around so much and just
Yeah.
trying to keep them alive. And then you'd have them all in the tank. Like, I'd wake up some mornings and there'd be 500 dead fish in my barrel.
Oh, that
And I'm
smells
like,
great.
motherfucker, because that's like each fish is like $10 to me. I get, I was getting, 25% of what I make in my
Yeah.
game. And those fish games are hot. And like, so when I wake up and I see a barrel of dead fish, I'm like, that's all the money I was, I was planning on making that this weekend. And, but sometimes you'd put them in the tank and I would scoop them and I wouldn't notice they were dead because I'm handing out hundreds and hundreds of fish. I'm talking like, I'm yelling, screaming, handing out fish. I made it a party. And I had a lot of fun with it. But you'd scoop up one of these fish, it looked like he was moving, and you'd throw him in a bag and you'd just hand him to a kid, and sometimes it'd be dead.
These poor kids.
Like, I feel like we
Life
should
lesson.
try it like as a job for a day thing.
See how many dead fish you can sell?
Dude, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
can you hook us up?
Oh yeah, we can do it. I'll tell you what. We can
I'm in.
do a
Like
do
a
a trip.
weekend, yeah, like
I'm
a
in.
weekend
We can
carnival
do a
thing.
trip, and I can actually. Now we wouldn't say we want to record anything or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to go like commit, we could do it for a weekend. I'll find a carnival
Undercover.
and say, hey, we're
Yeah.
gonna go for a weekend, and just show up and be like, hey, we want to travel. Trust me, I know how to talk to these guys.
Yeah.
Because I've never done one in California, but they're all over the place.
One of us might not come back.
One of us
Yeah,
might.
one of
It's
us
probably Ralph, right?
Might die.
Mike.
Mike, go do it.
Yeah, he's gonna take away.
What would you, now
disappear with the
You've
carnival.
got your options when you get there. You've got 3 options.
Oh shit.
So you've got games, all right? Those are joinies,
Rides.
is what they're called. The ride jocks, handle the rides, or food and concession.
Oh, I would do rides.
Where's the single moms at?
rides?
The games is where you have the most amount of time to talk to people,
Put me on the games.
right?
I think we would do good in games. Yeah.
Yeah. You would. Well, if you want to like ride jocks, you know what they make a week? They make like 250, 300 from a lot of these carnivals.
Yeah.
And there's, they stay stuck in this scenario. And ride jock work is hard. I've gotten to the point like, well, I don't ever want to do it again except for like maybe an adventure, but I wouldn't touch a ride. Like if they came over and like, hey, could you help? I'm like, nah, because you don't,
So,
you get hurt or something.
How often are carnival rides inspected is the question.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Yes, I
most
wanna know
of the
that.
carnivals that are putting shows up, from the ones I saw, you can trust them. Most of them. I know there's accidents and everything, but I met a lot of good ride jock crews. Like the crew I worked with in Kentucky, even those guys in Florida, they took a lot of pride in setting up those rides. Like it is, if you were a good ride jock, you figure it's gypsy life,
Yeah.
right? Would you think you're going to be accepted as a lazy gypsy?
No.
No, right? Those
no.
crews have hard-working motherfuckers in there, and they really check it out. And the foreman for those ride crews takes his job very seriously. He is not a partier, right? You'll have the partiers are the guys putting the shit together, the guy who's coming through who can lift everything you can. But the foremen for the ride jocks crews are huge, and
Have you ever seen
get
those
it done, man.
that crew of that they build that little wooden dome they ride the motorcycles around in?
Ooh,
Not
I
not
know
the
what you're
dome,
talking
but
about.
it's like a
Like a roulette thing?
no, it gets sideways. They call it the wall of death, I think, or the
Wait, you
wall.
just go like you're inside
It just
it?
yeah, but it doesn't go upside down, and they're riding around in it, and you stand over the top, and like they'll snatch dollars out of your hand.
I've never seen that.
Oh, no way.
I haven't seen that.
It's like four. It's the time I met him, it was 3 guys and a woman, and they build this whole thing. You gotta check this dude out. They build this whole thing from scratch, and tear it down and move it and travel with it and do the show,
Yeah.
and ride the motorcycles and repair the motorcycles, and they sell their own merchandise, and it's just 4 of them.
It's hard. It's a hard
crazy.
life, right?
So is circus life pretty similar?
I think the
Have you ever crossed
lifestyle. When I had a moving company, I had
Like
guys.
Bloods and Crips.
I had guys from Hungary working for me. 3 guys: Chubba, Christian, and there was another one. And they were from the circus. They ended up in Vegas traveling with the circus from Hungary.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle is the same in the sense that you get up real early, you
Work all
work real
day.
late, in the jump days. So like in carnival life, you tear down Sunday. Monday morning, you hit the road. If you can start loking stuff Monday night, cool. By Tuesday morning, you're setting stuff up. By Wednesday, you want to be ready to start the show Wednesday night. It's a lot of work in getting a show from one town, 500 miles or whatever. Sometimes you have shorter jumps, but jumping and
Yeah.
then setting it right back up. We literally come into town and build a city.
Yeah, there's no rest.
And it's like it's just traveling fucking.
Chat, and you become real tight with the people you hang out with, right? Because that's it. That's
It's called the
your
wall
crew.
of death.
The wall of
The
death.
wall of death.
Yeah, this is. Check these.
Oh.
You're gonna have to-
Oh yeah.
See, I want her job. Which is that microphone? Look at me. I'm looking at the microphone. The
Yeah.
only thing I see is
Not
the mic.
interested
Like
in
the
the
naked
motorcycle at
eye.
all.
Go check that out.
Oh, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
That's an older guy too.
Yeah,
You mess
and
up, you're out.
they're like crazy old like biker dudes, and yeah, they're wild, and they're on like a 1918 Harley Davidson kickstart
that he built.
Yeah,
right?
like seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks dangerous.
And it's crazy because when you stand at the top, that's where you view the show from, and you hang dollars over it, and they'll snatch the dollars out your hand as they go by.
It looks like a rickety old picket fence.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's wood too.
It looks like they made it out
Well,
of
yeah,
like
probably
pallets.
slats, right? They lay the slats down, and
Yeah.
they know what they're doing. They could probably do that blindfolded.
Yep. Yeah,
And
that's
when
crazy.
you're standing on the top of it, it feels like it's gonna fall over.
Where'd you see that at?
I was in Seattle actually.
Oh, your neck of the. Where are you
Yeah.
from?
Oregon, Portland,
Okay,
kind of.
Portland. Boom lived in Portland. Boom in the other room. He lived in Portland for a
Boom in
while.
the other room.
Boom in the other room. Other room, boom. He's from Portland. That's crazy.
Yeah, Seattle. That was at the what's the Lawless Harley Davidson? I think it was called. No, something like that. But yeah, check these dudes out, man.
Yeah, that's
Like
nuts.
no hands. Yeah, it's crazy.
That
Side
seems-
saddle.
That's like its own thing.
See,
Like that's not part of a carnival though. It looks like it's its
Oh
own
yeah.
attraction.
Well, they'll go and probably rent at carnival spots.
they do a lot of bike fests, Harley Davidson grand opening, stuff like that.
shop their stuff around.
But it's similar to I'm guessing similar to a Carnival
sure.
because they put that whole thing on a trailer, travel with it, put it all together,
Just go.
tear it down.
There's a thing called racked rides, and they take pictures of all these carnival rides that are racked, like on, which racked means they're ready to go.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to ship out. I think anybody who's racking rides, games, anything like that, the lifestyle is going to be the same.
Yeah.
You have your routine. Those guys know where they're going. It's not as crazy as people think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I tell
No,
people
it's
I ran
gotta
away,
be.
it is crazy. But when people say, "Oh, you ran away and joined the carnival," and that like the only way to make it normal is like, no, I'm traveling for work, and I know the route. Like I knew the cities I was going to go to. You start knowing the people around you, and it becomes your town.
You're a born traveler though.
I am.
So you're not meant to like, you know what I mean? Your roots don't go like.
I'm trying to justify my life as normal.
So
the
I'm
whole
saying like if
ride.
you took like, and I think everyone here too,
What's
like,
really normal though?
Yeah,
and that's the
It's
thing.
normal to you.
You know, like I've always been, like I said, I used to hop trains and do all that things. So like, but if you took like someone that's like really, and like not to use the word normal, but like domesticated,
Yeah.
non-feral, that would blow their fucking mind.
when I and it would and so when I settled back down in New Hampshire, when I left Vegas, I was like, all right, I'm ready for a normal life.
Yeah.
Right. And I got married, and I was like, everything's just gonna kind of be normal. I actually ended up joining a church. Like they were like, if you, I love microphones, so
Yeah.
the pastor. I was looking at his job, like
There's
as
a
soon
lot
as
of
I
money
showed
there.
up, right? Yeah, I was like, literally, like I'm sitting there in church, and I really was
You're
feeling
like,
it
I
and
could
stuff, but
do
at the
this.
same time, I'm like, yeah, how much does he make? What's his house look like, right? Like, and during this normal period, I talked with friends. I was like, the only time in my life that I made every effort to be just a normal citizen doing the 9 to 5, blah blah blah, I ended up on Dr. Phil.
Really? He's like
Killing me.
He's like the real life Forrest Gump.
That's what it sounds like.
Just turning up everywhere.
And he turned,
Then
and
I
he
worked on
turned
a
it
shrimp
into a
boat.
2-part episode too. So when I got back home, my friends were like, "Dr. Phil can't even cover your shit in a day, Ralph." I was like, but that wasn't even about me, honestly. I was
What
on
the
about-
fuck happened on Dr. Phil? Like, that's where we're going.
I had.
We have to. We can't skip over that.
No.
I was married at the time, and you wouldn't. It's so hard to find. It is so, and I'm so grateful for that. But I never regret the decision
Yeah.
because I was married at the time, and my stepdaughter was using narcotics. Right,
Okay.
she was heavy into heroin and all kinds of stuff, and she was.
His stepdaughter was the Cash Me Outside girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was, she was a hot mess. And I remember I was riding home from work. I was working at the nursing home, and I was talking to my wife, and she was like, blah, 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 blah. I said, whatever, I want them all away from the house. I'm at that point now,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, I don't even want anybody around anymore. I am tired of this.
Yeah.
And, things getting stolen, all that shit. And I'm just like, this, I feel bad for them, but they can't stay with us. And it was a tough thing to say
Yeah.
at that time. And she was like, well, what if we try one more thing? We go to doctor, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I'm half listening because I've had this conversation a million times. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I say, what's going to be different? And she's like, well, this is Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
And like, it just stopped me there. I was like, what do you mean? Like the Dr. Phil? And it was. And so I at the time, I had to really think about it. And I went on that show. And she spent the last couple of months, and it wasn't me, it was my wife wanted me to be on board, and if I was on board, they were going to be on board. And so we went, and she went and finished out the pregnancy and had Jace in a very safe environment down in Texas.
Okay.
And I knew if I had went on that show, they were not going to come home with us.
Yeah.
So I knew
Yeah.
two things. Number one, they weren't going to be at my house anymore.
Yeah.
Number two, they were going to be somewhere safe, and hopefully the baby's got a fighting chance. And he did live and have, so there was no regrets on it. But it was a weird experience going on Dr. Phil. Because like I said, it was like that time in my life.
I've been there. I've been to
right?
Dr. Phil.
Have you?
Yeah.
All right, so there we go.
You've seen my Dr. Phil stuff, haven't you?
No.
I didn't like him.
What?
I'm going to throw that out there. I didn't like him. I didn't have really, he was mad at at everything. So I just didn't get along with him for the few minutes I
Did you
saw
just
him.
mess with him the whole time?
I was
So,
quiet.
Dr. Phil wanted to have, someone come on from bum fights
Oh, yeah.
to talk about bum fights. But his plan was to make us look like pieces of shit.
I believe it.
And he wanted to, get his little, pound of flesh and make us look like
How old were
idiots.
you?
20,
20,
19,
okay.
20.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, well, we could go on Dr. Phil, and do the panel thing, and, he could beat us all up. Or we could fuck him up. We're going to fuck him up. That's what we're going with. So we got our buddy who looks a little bit like a young Dr. Phil. So we show up as a group, and they green room us, right? And we go in the green room, and all of a sudden, here it comes. Like, we had a suit packed away. We had clippers and everything. So we cut the haircut like Dr. Phil and my friend's hair, and we sent him out in a gray suit. And do you have your YouTube? Can you pull up on YouTube?
Please, I got to see this.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you
I
see
looked
that?
I looked it up.
Okay.
And so what I wanted was the whole thing, though. I saw the clip. Like, how long did he talk to Dr. Phil for?
It was that fast.
Was it that
That
fast?
clip
'Cause
was
that's
the
what I
long
was
version.
wondering.
It
I
was
was
like
like
30 seconds, dude. Once he came out,
Which
from-
I was wondering how you came out.
Okay,
Okay, I've
so-
been on the show. I was wondering how
So
you
when they
even got out
come,
there.
when they come backstage and they knock. Did they give you a dressing room
Yep,
and like
yep.
a family room?
Yep.
So they come back and we are like, we're like we want pizza and
Did you
fucking
stay at the
chicken
hotel?
fingers.
You
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that?
We're like we want pizza and chicken fingers and we're back there hanging out.
They'll
and
give you anything. They give
whatever
Being
you
the
want.
shittiest guest.
Yeah, like just being assholes because we already know we're getting kicked the fuck out.
Yeah.
This doesn't end well. They don't
Yeah.
know that, so we're already like pushing the limits. And what happened? What she said?
Oh, she turned that fan, but the fan.
So did she take it for her?
No.
Oh, okay. See what happens? People interrupt and shit. So they're coming and they're banging on the door, and we're not ready yet. We're like trying to like be loud so they can't hear the. We're cutting the dude's hair, and then finally they're like, "You're on, come out." And it's like some little like
So it was
apprentice
just
guy
in
with
the place to
the
cut
little
his hair.
guy. He's got the headset and
Yeah.
the clipboard. He's like, "Come on."
Yep.
So we open the door. And his jaw just drops. And we start making a fucking beeline for the stage.
Yeah.
We're hitting
Like,
it.
we're going this time. Let's
This
do
is
it.
happening. And he's like, no. And he's like on his little walkie-talkie. He's like, hey. And he's
Stop
like
him,
yelling
stop
out.
him,
Yeah, he's
stop
like
him.
yelling
Code
out
red,
some
code
like code words and shit. And I'm like, go, 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 go.
We got another one.
So he just comes out on stage, and Dr. Phil's just like,
Oh,
what
no.
the fuck? And it was just super funny. It lasted like 30 seconds. and
Somebody
it
got
just-
fired that day.
The footage you see is leaked. We had to get that from the network. That never even aired.
I was wondering that too. I was like, "There's no way he aired that."
There's
when I was
no-
watching, I was like, "He wouldn't have aired that because
Yeah.
he didn't win."
They were trying
Right.
to, there was a lawsuit involved, so it was evidence
Yeah.
of the lawsuit. So it came out, that's how that footage got leaked. Because they never aired that.
He's an asshole.
A terrible asshole. You gotta go? All right, thank you, sir.
Sorry, Ralph. Nice to meet you.
Popeye's leaving, as always. Where are you off to? What's going on tonight?
You don't want to know?
I don't.
But we do.
Texas Day, Brazil.
Ooh,
Dinner reservation.
there you go.
Nice.
Well, Dana, you want to jump in? Might as well.
Yeah, come on.
Got Ralph here.
He had,
You missed it. You're gonna have to watch. This is crazy. I didn't even know Ralph was like a fucking I don't even like a jewel of a human.
That's how I look at myself.
So much
Yeah.
to know.
So unique. He was with the carnival.
All of them.
All of
What,
them.
you know what? Do you know of any?
That carnival life. He was with that carnival life.
Look at the face. Like
Yeah.
that's what she's
I was
like.
just like,
Ooh.
ooh, yeah.
Right?
I
Like,
don't know what's happening.
it's kind of these characters. But when he asked me a question, Dr. Phil was like, he said something, and I gave him an answer. I fired right back.
Yeah.
And he was like, if you're so smart, what are you on here for? And I just fired right back. I said, because your producers filled me full of Red Bull
Yeah.
and told me to come out here and bring the drama, and that's the only way the girls are going to get help.
Yeah.
So you tell me, what do you want me to do, Dr. Phil? And he literally didn't talk to me for like the rest of the show. He just like focused it on.
Do you know Jack Slammy?
Yeah, I've met Jack just a couple times.
Did you see on his Facebook that he posted a picture of him on Jerry Springer?
I saw that. Well,
Like,
no,
what
no,
the
it
fuck?
wasn't. Was it Jack Slammy? That was that who was in the picture? Jack Slammy shared the picture, but was he in the picture?
I think that was like a young him. I'm pretty sure that was him when he was younger because he was like, if you haven't been on Springers, I'm pretty sure that was. We'll have to ask him. I'll ask him tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was Phil Cummins. I thought it was Scratch.
Oh, is that who it was?
That's what I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
I had gone by Jack. I saw it. I don't know if I hit like. I think I did hit like
Yeah.
because I hit like because I've been on
So
Dr.
it
Phil.
was-
So
it was-
I was like, oh yeah, I can relate to that shit right
It's like
there.
all these
right?
people have been on these like C-rated talk shows, Oprah's sideshow, and we were trying because we did all those shows, promoting the bonfires. We did all those,
Yeah.
and the lady, what's her name, Nancy Grace.
Yeah.
She was
I don't
the
like watching her
she was
show.
the first one that like was anti what we were doing. So
Oh, I
like we'd
believe
gone
it.
to like all these like we were doing like radio shows and like before they had like podcasting, like each college had their own radio station. So we were doing all like the West Coast universities radio shows and then bigger shows and then like, the big rock and roll, we were doing like, everybody was happy to have us. So we walked in there just being idiots. No one told us like, dude, you're going to get your asses kicked. She's going to make you guys look like,
Oh, Nancy.
yeah. And she fucked us up bad.
I believe it.
We didn't have any answers. She was so good. She's, like,
Did her homework.
yeah,
Caught
she
you
just
off guard a little.
caught us off guard, and we were like, "Wait, we're not here to like party." Like, you think this is bad?
You can't win like win. I don't like the word win. You
Yeah.
know, but like you can't even share where you're coming from if somebody's that strongly opinionated against. It don't matter what it is.
You can't. And then like the way they edit it, like even if you give a solid answer, they still put it to like a shot of you being quiet
Yeah.
and her just talking over, and you look like you're not saying. You're like, "Wait, we answered that," and it was just like
yeah,
a
you're
picture of
just
us.
looking
Like,
at it, going, I don't know.
like looking at the ceiling, and she's just like yelling, and like you're like, "See, that's bullshit," because that's like how they really. And that was when I gave up on news. When I gave up on like media, when I was like saw what they did to us,
Yeah.
and like portrayed us like totally faked everything, and I was like, okay,
I gave up on it. I think the first time I watched it. I've never been a news watcher.
yeah, it's a tough racket.
I really don't. I really try not to watch any. I get my news from people, and I know people are like, oh, it's not like the facts on television are any better. What I do is I cipher through the people I trust, intelligent people I know.
Yeah.
Like, what did you hear? Well, that makes sense.
Well, like the
and then
other day-
I'll Google stuff. Like I'll get the first stuff, and then I'll go Google stuff. And I'm careful. I always try to type into Google, like unbiased news. I
Yeah.
want just the facts.
Well, with
sometimes.
Google, you can look at every side too.
Yeah, most people don't. Though.
Most people look for what they want.
Most people don't. Yeah.
They're like, I want to look for the,
They'll
the.
Google
just
something
wanna
like,
prove
I
I'm
want
right.
both
Yeah.
sides, but I want mine slightly right so I can still win.
I want evidence
Right?
to back up my argument,
Yeah.
and that's it. And that's what they do. And it's like, even with like social media, like if you, like just, you ever like not look like your friend will share something, but like you'll click on the original post and see where there's like 20,000 comments, and just look at the masses, like the way the masses talk to each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking bizarre.
That's all Facebook is now.
Yeah.
It's just people like them.
How
Talking.
many
Talking together.
things do you just hit like on?
I try. Here's the thing. I try not to because I know as soon as I hit it, it lets all my friends know that I fucking liked it.
See,
This is me.
What, and you're the same?
No. Oh no.
You go
No
like
social
crazy?
media.
Oh, no social media
None.
at all.
None. You're totally off the grid.
Totally off.
No Snapchat, Instagram.
I got Snapchat, but that's just because I like pictures.
Uh-oh.
I like pictures and videos.
Okay.
I do Instagram. I do photography. I love photography. So
If there was one, it would be Instagram that I would jump
Yeah.
back onto.
Yeah,
But like Facebook, Twitter, nah.
I've been trying to like figure out how to work social media, right? So I got my Instagram. I've been putting in photos that I've taken, like when I was on road trips. I took
Yeah.
pictures like of the fireballs.
nice. That's
and
good
some
for
cool
promoting.
photos, yeah. And I don't know what but I have a heart for photography. Like so, I still plan on doing like wedding photography. I mean, I just love all the possibilities of Vegas. I just do.
She's a photographer. This one here.
What are you shooting with?
I have a 7D, Canon 7D.
I'm trying to get a Mark D. I'm hoping to have 5. I'm hoping to get the 5.
Yeah.
I saw one on. It was a website. My mother works for a gun place that does sites, and she said it was. I can't remember the name of it, but they had a Mark 5D on there for like $900. Yeah, and like
Wow,
just the
that's
body.
good.
So I've seen a bunch of them, and that's the difference. I've shot with Pentax, and the highest I've gotten. I had a Canon 60D, but it makes a difference.
Your
the
parents
Mark
are
series
photographers
makes a
too,
difference.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Videographers, photographers, they do it all.
Out here too?
Yeah.
Nice.
They just started.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny, like with that stuff, because it's like you could just throw a price out.
Yeah.
You really could.
You
Nobody
just-
knows.
And nobody fucking knows.
They're
And
not
it's
gonna
crazy
question it.
because we know some people that are photographers and it's like, oh, they did like family photo day. What would they charge you? Oh, $600.
Well,
For
if you're
a
not a
20-minute
photographer,
session.
then yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know anything about it. I couldn't even tell you, and my parents are photographers, so
Yeah. And
throw
people
out
just
whatever
like,
you
if it's in their budget, they'll pay it.
they'll do it. Yeah.
But
You
they
know-
also want to pay more because they think you're better.
And they think
Yeah.
the more, it's
Yeah.
The
same
more they
with,
spend, the better you are.
same with like lawyers, you know, like you're like, well, I have a high priced lawyer. Yeah, but he sucks. You know, and you see that a lot with photography. You see people charge a ton of money, rip people off, and then give them like basic shit. So you can charge whatever you want if you have the balls to charge it.
Well, and if you're good, you can charge crazy.
If
right?
you're
Like,
good, then you don't have to worry about it. But I see people that suck that just come out, they're like $500 for 20 minutes. And then they deliver you shit. And then they charge you,
Like, just use your iPhone.
And
Come
then
on.
they
Yeah.
charge you for prints.
and then they
everything
charge you
else.
for everything else, and copyright releases and all that shit.
I was gonna show that. Well, the coolest thing about being on that carnival was the photography.
Oh, I
would have
bet.
I would have to say.
Just the behind the scenes of it all
Oh,
would be
just
in
getting to
itself
see-
wonderful.
Like you worked rides and stuff?
I worked games. I ran the Game Sensation Sweep of the Nation. The game they're talking about the most from coast to coast, folks, happening right here, and I'm your host, Step Right Up. You guys smell that?
Yes.
You smell that?
No. What is
Smells
that?
like a winner.
Uh-oh.
What is that coming from?
Smells
You just
like a
fuck
winner.
around. But the real thing was, like, I was on a mic, so I did a lot of yelling. I always call myself just a barker, and but that's all I would do was
It's like
that.
those,
That's the fireball. And I remember looking at
That's
that game, like, at
Oh,
that
yeah.
ride the whole time, and I'm like, I got to get a picture of that thing, you know. And
Wow.
it got actually this company actually ended up paying me to take photos of their crew and things like that. And so I was actually making more money doing that, taking pictures while I was on the road.
Well, it's just not something you see a lot. You always see the carnival when it's up and running and stuff, but you don't see it when it's being taken down. You don't see all the people behind the scenes.
didn't really put a lot of money into marketing material for the carnival, so there's no well-planned photo shoots. You just see it passing down the highway one day, like, oh, carnival.
Yeah, it would be
Like, I've never been to a carnival's website.
no.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I tell you though,
Like,
I tell you that
can
the
we buy
car-
tickets
that,
online?
That,
I don't know
that
till I see it.
lifestyle is so different in Indiana, in Kentucky, in Missouri, in Montana, in these towns where nothing else goes on.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
wait all year for this motherfucking carnival to come into town, right? They're like, and they're gonna, and
That's
they
how
are.
it was for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Where was that? Where?
Washington, Oregon area.
Yep.
Yeah, just
Yeah, just wait. Like
Everybody
it's
waited
a
all
big
year.
deal, right? The Cornish
it's coming
Fair
up.
back home.
And
the
I
Cornish
even
Fair
know
is
in
huge.
Las Vegas.
Because Vegas kids don't give a fuck.
These kids
Oh,
don't
no,
care.
they
They
do
can go.
not.
They can go like sneak into like.
We're doing other shit. Yeah, we're doing other
Shrimp and
shit.
they're good.
We're doing other shit. That's
Yeah.
why I asked before. Like, does this happen in, when you're talking about all the hustling and all that? Like, I was like, does this happen in
Florida.
Vegas?
Florida was when I was in Chicago. They wanted me to. I was doing the goldfish again, and when we got to Chicago, they wanted me to sell iguanas.
Oh shit.
So I was going to have an iguana and goldfish game, and I was like, that's.
They do. I've never been to a carnival where they had iguanas.
That's
Yeah, I know. And I
crazy.
was like, I was thinking money because
I wouldn't
like,
want that.
I
I
had
love to keep
rabbits.
that.
I had rabbits in Kentucky. So
Rabbits?
yeah, I had like
I'd do
I
that
had
one.
fish and rabbits. I was running the world famous fish and rabbit game right over here. Like, so I would meet these fucking hillbillies in like the backwoods of Kentucky and buy like 100 rabbits off them, right? Like I would find them at fairs. I would go to swap meets and stuff. My boss would be like, "All right, Ralph, go hit that." Like if we needed rabbits, he'd be like, go take off." And I'm like, "All right, I'm out." And I would go to these swap meets or these little farmers things, and I'm like, "Hey,
Were you on a
you guys-"
motorcycle?
Huh?
Were you on a motorcycle?
Not at that point.
I just picture you pulling out of like some grass lot, like some fucking with like the Red Baron glasses on, like on this rabbit mission. That's just what I pictured.
Oh, because I had to load it up in the back of the truck. I'd buy
True.
all these rabbits. It would be. I hated the rabbits. I wouldn't fuck with them.
What'd you do with them?
Well, you bring them back, and so here was the game, the fish and rabbit game. So you throw a ping pong ball into a dish.
Yeah.
And if you get it in a dish, you win a fish. If you get it into the center dish, which I would have set up top,
You win a
you
rabbit?
would win a rabbit.
Shut the frick
Right?
up.
And
Were
so,
people excited
so you'd
for
be
this?
people would come up. People would
How do
offer
you-
me. Do you know how much I could get
No.
for a rabbit out at the fair? I could easily, like, if a rabbit of
I don't even
mine
want to play
went
the
for
game. Just
less
give me the rabbit.
then I had to make at least a couple $100 before I wanted to give a rabbit away. Like I had to have I would only try to give it away like if the whole thing was like everybody was there. I didn't mind it if somebody hit
Yeah.
it then. But if somebody just came up and hit it, and I'm like, fuck, because I'm hunting down rabbits
Yeah.
in Kentucky, right? Like, and it is not the easiest thing to do. So I want people to have to really earn it. So sometimes I would have like people would come up and they would be like, "Can I buy a rabbit?" And I'm like, absolutely not. And they're like, what? I'm like, hey, I'll give you $50.
No.
And I'm like, you bumped your head. And they're like, you won't take $50 for a rabbit.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's simple mathematics. Follow me here. And I would do this. Like, I ran that rabbit gate, man. I would have 4 sides with, 4 buckets each. It's $5 for a bucket. So each side is making $20.
Yeah.
And if I was completely full, I would tell them, I just made $80 while we were having this conversation. I was like, there's no way I'm going to give a rabbit up for
I mean,
on the
we've
Right?
dumped, right? Taking the kids to those, crazy
Yeah, but
ass games.
that game is fun, and a
Trying
lot
to
of
win a
times people
goldfish
don't
that
want
costs
them to win.
25 cents at Walmart.
Yeah.
But see, here's the difference. At least this is how I approach life. If now if you think of all carnies, yeah, but in my game, and this is why I think carnivals liked me. It was like, I'd be like, it's an experience. The whole thing's going to be fun. You're going to have fun. The kids are going to have fun. You're going to win a fish. And the whole thing's going to cost you like $5. I'll
Yeah,
tell
I
them,
totally agree with that.
come up and give
Gonna
me $10, and your kid's going to leave with a fish in one of those plastic
It's
tanks.
the most exciting
and,
feeling.
you know,
It's just the best.
Let me tell you
the kids
something.
go crazy.
We had a carnival goldfish. Okay? My daughter won like 9 of them one night. We had one that lived
Oh,
over
no.
a year. Gabby, she had got one over a year.
You're like, this is not what I wanted.
This fucking thing died, and I brought it back to life.
Yes.
I fucking gave it CPR with my fingers, and
brought it back?
joking. I was like joking, like I was like trying to be like this really emotional dad, and I was like, Gabby was like, "Don't let my fish die," and I was like, "I got it, Gabby," and I was like,
I'm sorry,
"Come
you just
back."
got so much cooler to me.
And I was like, she was there. This is a true fucking story.
No
and I was
joke.
like, "Don't worry, Gabby. I'll save the fish." And I start like pumping it with my fingers, and that motherfucker whipped its tail and went to the. It started. It lived for like 3 more months. It lived for like 3 more. It was
Yeah, but
fucking
then-
dead.
Every time a fish dies, you got to bring it back to life now.
Dude,
That's
I
just how it
no,
works.
that was that one time. Like I swear to God, I was the coolest dad.
If I was a
Did
kid
you
and my
start
dad did
feeling
that,
attached to that fish?
Dude, I have
Yeah,
pictures
we have
of
a
it.
connection.
We had a photo. She was Goldie, man. That was like the family
that was
pet.
my
We-
Goldie.
Got a
Like-
tattoo of it now.
It was like right above the sink, so like when anyone would do dishes, like the fish would. It was like it was like a pet for sure, because it was out of like we had like I said we had a bunch, and it killed them all. It fucking slayed all the other ones, so it was the toughest one alive. That's why we liked it.
He deserves to live, yeah.
And then it was just super funny. I ended up just like bringing it back to life. It was like super funny.
I've never brought an animal back to life.
Dude, I fucking was in there. I was like squeezing. I was like, "Come back, come on, Goldie!" And then it fucking, dude, it scared the shit out of me. I was
Yeah, how
like,
did you feel when that
"Oh,
happened?
fuck!" It was super funny because like it just fucking happened, and it lived for like 3 or 4 more months. Going back to the rabbits, how did you deliver the rabbit? Like, if I want a rabbit, how did I get it?
Oh, I was brutal. I would have some boxes over on the side, and if I didn't have boxes, I didn't want to give them away.
Like an
they
old
were worth
pretzel
so
box?
much money.
Yeah.
I would be like, bring your own bag type.
So they were just for show.
They would
They're
They would
bait.
they would win them, and they would carry them around the carnival. Like, and sometimes they'd have like because if you want a rabbit, like I remember once I was in.
These are like those domesticated white rabbits, right?
No, I had all kinds of cool rabbits, man. Like the lion ones. Like I go out and find like cool looking rabbits. They were a sought after item. Like these,
Really?
yeah. And
Dang.
like I remember once a lady was she won the rabbit, and I was like, all right, you know what, your choice, rabbit. And she was like, I don't want a rabbit. I saw you want a fish in the tank. I'll give you 2 fish in the tank because I'm trying to like get anytime someone says they don't want a rabbit, I was on it.
Yeah,
I was
for
like, oh
sure.
yeah, I'm with you. Rabbits
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
And I remember another kid was like, I'll give you $50 for it. I'm like, hang on now, everybody calm down. But I had to let that happen because she was like, I want the rabbit. I said, all right. And so the kid was like, what am I going to put it in? I said, I don't know. Well, did you spend all your money on the rabbit?
There was I was at my buddy had this is a rabbit story. My buddy had a surprise. It was like a 60th birthday. Remember the rabbits? Do you remember this story with all the rabbits? So my buddy had his dad's. You'll remember it. He was having a surprise birthday party. And he hadn't seen his brothers since they moved here from like Guatemala. Okay, and they flew all the brothers up from Guatemala. It was like a big deal. People had to get passports, and it's a big fucking deal. And huge barbecue, right? Well, this kid, my friend, his little sister had like a dozen pet rabbits on the side of the house. So as all these people from like Guatemala were there like getting drunk and raging, they thought they were the food. And when like somehow like in the middle of the party, no one even noticed, they fucking killed and skinned all these fucking pet rabbits. Yeah, so like we're there like just barbecuing and we're all eating food and I'm like, dude, this shit is fucking good. Everybody's eating and then all of a sudden the girl's like, hey, like, where's the rabbits? You know, like
Oh my
his little
God.
sister was like 12.
Oh my
And she's like, where's the rabbits? Where's the,
Traumatized
yeah,
for
like,
life.
where's all the rabbits? And
You
then
just ate my buddy.
you don't remember
I
that?
forgot his name.
Yeah, I don't want to
do
say it.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it on the air. But yeah, so she walked past like the grill, and there was like a trash can next to it where all like the hides, you know, like the feet and the hair and all, like it was just a bloody disaster. And then she looked, and it was like all the dead rabbits were like splayed out on the grill. Like, dude, it was.
What would possess?
I thought you were talking about the other one that gave us the little rabbit that Mikey snapped his
No,
neck.
no. What was that?
Were they his rabbits?
They were just the family pet
Like pet
rabbits.
rabbit.
They were pet rabbits, but
That's
they brought all
terrible.
these relatives up from like Guatemala.
They needed more food.
They just thought it was the food, I guess, because the one uncle, like after it was all like brought up, like you know, he was like, yeah, that's what we eat. He was like, we eat rabbits and guinea pigs.
Oh, that's crazy.
He was like, we eat rabbits and guinea pigs, and we keep them in a pen on the side of the
That
house.
they were alive at a party, and they looked at them, and they were like, I got to skin that
you have
now.
Yeah, it was fucking good. It was delicious.
I'm
Yeah, it was
hungry.
like really good.
I had a rabbit die once, and me and my boss were. We were in the middle of this fucking town. It was so hard to get rid of anything.
Yeah.
Right, like sometimes it'd be hard to get rid of the fish if I weren't going to travel with them or dispose of like animals and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, where do you put that?
well, so this I get this call because I'm out at the game, we're getting ready to open. It was going to be a big weekend, and I get the call, and he's like, "You got to come out here. The rabbit's not doing good, this and that." And I said, "Listen, just take care of it." It was this other new guy that was on the crew. I was like, "Just take care of it."
Yeah.
And so Aaron, my boss, comes up, and he's like, "We got to go out there. We got to take care of it." I said, "All right, let's go out." And we go out, and the rabbit's like half dead. He's not dead. And of all the crazy things I do in my life, I don't like to stomp on an animal to kill it or something
Oh,
like
I've
that.
done it.
So
It's
I'm like,
terrible.
fuck. And so I move him over into the shade underneath the. All right, I'll just call myself out because he was done. There was no
Yeah.
way this guy was going to survive,
Yeah.
and I couldn't kill him. So I tucked him underneath the back wheel of a truck, like in the shade. I just kind of put him in a little resting space,
Yeah.
so maybe they'll just roll backwards and like just end his life for him.
Yeah.
And so I go back to the game, and we get a call, and it was that guy again. I was getting so mad at this new guy, and he's yelling at my boss. He's like, one of the half-dead rabbits crawled out of the cage. I don't know how he's underneath the truck. What should I do? I said, Aaron, tell him to kill that fucking rabbit and throw that thing out in the woods somewhere. And so Aaron just yells into the phone, kill it. And he like hangs up.
No.
I'm like, we got to be done with that rabbit. We've got a big day ahead of us, man.
I hate it. We always there's where we live. There's like when it gets like fall, we get like mice. You know, they come out of the desert and they come. You know, so I always put like
No, they're rats.
Yeah, they're like big, well, both. But yeah, so this one night, like I'm checking. You know, like I put traps out. I bought some fucking crazy, super industrial strength, like fucking rat trap. They're the glue ones.
Yeah.
You know, so the shitty part about the glue ones is you have to finish the rat and they're stuck to that glue.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't kill him, right? Just
That's
holds him in
terrible.
place for you.
Oh, dude, it was brutal, man. And like fucking the kid, remember like again, like the kids were like cheering me on. I didn't realize they were like looking out the blinds and shit. I'm out there with like a fucking big ass like shovel, and I'm like,
No, you first ran out with your gun
yeah, I was getting.
on
No, I
the
had
side.
to, no,
Thought
no,
someone was on the
Mice.
side of the house.
no. I grabbed the kid's BB gun, right? And I was like, I'm gonna shoot it in the fucking head with
No,
this BB gun.
rewind. Before that, you were out with your AR because you thought it was someone
That
trying
was
to break
another
in the
night.
house.
That was
Like, it's a
another.
mouse.
That was
Come
another
on.
one. That was super rat. That was another. I'll tell you that rat story too. These are the
bazooka.
These are the
So
two
many rat
rats I had to
stories.
fucking kill. And so the one was on the porch and it was like flopping around, but it was about to get out of the glue. Like it was
It
at
had
to the
like
point.
one
So it was now or never.
Finger
Almost
left.
escaped.
It was at the point it was going to start chewing its foot off. Like we're at that point and I'm like, fuck, I don't want this thing. It's pissed. You know, so I get the kid's BB gun and I like go out there like fucking, like, you know, like Ice Cube when he caught the dude that killed his brother in Boys in the Hood. I'm like, turn your punk ass over, motherfucker. And I hit it with the BB gun like right in the fucking head and it bounced off and I'm like, oh, that had to hurt. I felt hella bad. I was like, this little bitch ass BB gun didn't do shit to this rat. So I go and I get a shovel and I go out there and I try to like hit it down so I could like
Cut it right in half.
cut the head off. And I do that, and I'm like fucking all like worked up and like sweating, like boom. And I look, and the kids are all looking through the
in the
blinds.
window, like,
Oh, they're
They weren't
cheering.
even
Yeah.
sad. They were happy about
They were
it.
like, oh,
Yeah,
killed
cut its
the
head
rat.
off.
But the other rat, we had another one of those fucking. It was big. This was a big fucking rat. And it was like late. It was like 3:00 in the morning, and I could hear. We have gravel on the side of our house. It's not like dirt. It's like someone put gravel there before we lived there, and you could hear like, you know what footsteps and gravel sound. I heard footsteps, and I'm like, what the.
This grown-ass
There-
man.
yeah, is there a person out there?
And it sounded, what it was the fucking rat, and it was like inchworming, and then it would drag the glue trap. So it was like,
Oh, the trap was stuck to him. He's just bringing it.
and it's collecting more rocks every
Hey, you
time
know
it
what?
goes
If
through.
I saw that, I'd be like, go free. You
And
deserve
so
it.
I go out there I'm tripping out. You know, we own a bail bonds office. People don't like us and shit. You know, I put people back in jail. I'm thinking like someone's come to the fucking house. Like I'm thinking it's like Steven Seagal movie shit, you know. And I get my gun and I got a shotgun with a fucking big spotlight on the front of it, like a big like tactical flashlight. And I like jump around the corner like fucking, you know, and I'm like, freeze. Like I yelled because I was like, someone's there for sure because I heard it getting closer. It was like literally.
Oh, did you
and it
feel
was-
like an idiot?
And I'm like, fucking
Did ya?
freeze! Or I yelled like some like crazy, like trying to be the aggressor. And there's nothing there. And I'm like, what? And then at my feet is this big fucking rat, and he's like dragging the rat trap with him. I was like, oh my god, dude! So what did I end up hitting him with, a weight or something?
Oh, he badged his head in with the dumbbell.
Something fucking heavy as fuck. I can't remember what it was. But it was
Speaking of visitors, tell them about the Chinese we had.
oh, dude. Let me finish this rat story. So I kill this fucking other rat, and I'm just like worked up and pissed off about it. Dude, it was so fucking big. Like it just made like it was like a massacre happened on the side of my house. It must have eaten like a bag of blood. Like that's what it had to eat.
You should have stuffed him.
Oh, I wanted
Kept him as
to.
a trophy.
Made it like.
No.
Him on the mantle.
I'll show you these things. They're fucking big. They come out of the desert. Like we back up to a desert, and it's like every year we gotta fight them and shit. It's disgusting.
I had a mouse when I lived in Unity, New Hampshire, really small town.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing him in the walls, and I remember like he had stole something. He had taken something, and so like it all came clear. I was like, oh, this is where he's getting out, and I was all ready to kill him, and he came out, and he was so afraid.
He was
And,
just cool.
and so I just let him run back in, and then I started putting cheese out for him. Right?
They don't eat cheese. They don't eat cheese.
I was putting
Now he's
putting
just a
bread.
roommate.
I was putting all
He just
kinds
lives
of
with you
stuff
now.
out there.
little
I had
matchbox.
I had a fear of snakes.
Give him a little
right? I had like an absolute fear of snakes, and so I went and got a snake. Right, that's how I address my fears.
Yeah.
So I went and got a ball python. I
Okay.
called him Seymour.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid of snakes, but it was not too long after I got Seymour. He could slither all around the house. People would come in, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I got a snake. I haven't seen him in 2 days."
Did it make you
know?
feel better?
About
your fear?
I didn't get over the fear of snakes. I got I had no fear of Seymour.
That
But
snake, yeah.
the first time I fed him, we fed him a frozen mouse, right? And so, like, we videotaped it.
Yeah.
This was a while ago. It was like VHS tape.
Yeah.
Right? And so we videotaped it, and it was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I was like, we gotta get a live one for the next one, right? And so I got one, but he wasn't hungry yet. So I don't know if you, I don't know a
Yeah.
whole lot about snakes, but he wasn't hungry. So I put the mouse in there with the snake, and he didn't eat him. And so for like 2 days, this little mouse was cowering in the corner,
Oh,
right?
just
Like peeing
living with
and
a
just so
monster.
afraid. So I took him out, and then I got him his own cage, and then I got rid of the snake. I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I just, then I got rid of everybody. Right?
Such a gentle soul, Rob. So nice of you.
You're going to
some
keep
would
getting things to
disagree.
eat them.
Yeah.
You're going to have like 20 pets.
You
Yeah.
keep getting lower down the food
Yeah, the
chain.
carnivore
Yeah.
line.
Now you
here,
just
right?
have a pet cricket. It's really nice.
He was for the snake, but he's the only one that survived.
I had to kill a snake once at my house too.
Oh, Lord.
And dude, and here's the funny part. Like I say, I had to kill this thing. I didn't have. I could have just let it be.
You just,
You know what I mean? But for
There was
something
no
in my
way.
head, like there was just some like,
I'm
you know, like
terrified
it's like
of snakes.
fight or flight mode. Like I was
Yeah.
like, fuck it, we're killing them. And I was terrified of the snake. One and two, I didn't even know how to handle a snake. You know, like I have no like nature instincts of like how to fucking deal with this.
How'd you
grab
kill
him by
it?
the
How you
jaw.
killed it.
How'd you kill it?
So, this poor fucking snake, dude. I fucking,
no.
I had to like, I pinned its head under the, I drove.
He jumped in the car.
I kept like
backs
running,
up.
like I
goes
kept
forward,
missing it. I was like,
missed it. Up on the curb, off the curb, up in the rocks, out of the road.
and the snake's like going. He's trying to get
just
away.
moving
I could have just let him go, but I was like, it was on. I'm like, oh, you're gonna fucking
His
die.
fear
Now
he's
it's
going
just
to
a
come
game for
back.
you.
Now he's mad that you tried to kill him. He's going to come back and wipe out your whole family.
And so eventually, I get him under the tire. Like, this is terrible. People are gonna hate me. I don't care, but this fucking happened. And I had this solid steel thing you use for like bashing doors down. You know, like a battering ram. And I just was like, boom, and I kept missing. Like I missed him. Like I was like hitting inches away. I like taking chunks out of the street with this thing, and the poor snake was just like ducking and dodging. And then finally we took it down. But it was huge.
And people will get mad. People
Yeah.
get like, I was thinking that even when I was talking about tucking a rabbit behind a tire, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, someone might get mad at that. Like,
That rabbit was gonna die
you,
anyway.
you do what
though.
you got to do.
That's real
sometimes,
shit.
right?
That's what I'm
you
saying. Like
gotta
this
do what
is,
you gotta do.
I got kids in the house and shit. I was like kind of the snake just like showing up, you know.
See, I don't have kids. I never reproduce. The
Yeah.
reason, like, and anyone, that's why I have like these stories and shit. I
Yeah.
never had any kids.
You
know,
can
I
keep
just-
going. You're not.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want kids.
Yeah.
I've been in relationships. I've been married. I had stepkids, but I never reproduced.
Yeah.
And so there's no kid.
That
Like,
you
hey, how
know
come
of.
Ralph's not? I am
you know of.
99% sure. I am
never
like
know.
99%.
You know,
Mikey just
I was
Oh,
adopted.
did you
met
just find
his
out that you got a
biological
kid?
father.
No. I just found my dad. My dad had no idea that I even existed.
Oh, yeah,
When?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, and I
last
know what
year.
happens.
Wow.
last year, last
That's
summer.
recent.
Like 12 months ago. It just
Was it
happened.
rough?
You guys,
Was it good?
Are you in a relationship with him now?
Yeah, we talk. We talk, but it was like he didn't even know I existed at all.
And
No
Mikey had
fucking
to
Until
call
last
him and
year.
tell him.
I had to call him and drop the bomb on him.
Wow.
Like, hey, like I'm your fucking
Well, you're
son.
a grown
So you
adult.
called him?
Well, I found him on Ancestry.
Oh, yeah.
Found him on Ancestry.com, and it linked me. Like it said, like this was. I didn't know it links you to your relatives. It's like a social media. It's really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
So like it'll like if only if they have an account. Like if they've done
What,
it themselves.
LinkedIn?
No. It's Ancestry. It's I'll
Yeah,
show
that's
you,
weird
like,
stuff.
I'd be too
right?
afraid.
It's you just get this fucking. It's like a social media app. You just fucking open it and it's Ancestry, and whoever
yeah.
else has done it. If you're related, it'll link you guys. Like, hey, this is your
Yeah, my
first
sister
cousin.
did it, and I'm pretty sure my brother was kind of bitching about that, like not too long ago, because he was like, yeah, you can find out like the whole family, right? Like if
Yeah.
someone in the family does it, you're gonna be able to find out all kinds of stuff.
Everybody. It'll tell you everything. And so I'd like fucking. So be careful. You never know. It
You
could
never
be-
know, and I'll tell you, if one ever shows up, if he could find me,
Yeah. No, wait, true. Well, you're on Facebook. I found him through Facebook.
Facebook would be the easy. Yeah, you could. Yeah, that yeah. And I don't know if that ever happened. I don't know. I'd be like, how old are you?
Yeah.
All right, where are we at? What stage of life? And first of all, can I have some proof?
Yeah.
Right, I would want some proof right out the gate,
He looks
especially like,
identical to him, so
Yeah,
there's
it's
no.
fucked up. Like, even, like, it's weird. It was, like, super creepy. It was like, what the fuck? But,
you have beers with him now ever? Yeah.
well, he lives in Colorado. He's up in, like, Pueblo, so
Had
we
he,
went.
seen, had he
no.
seen bum fights?
Dude, they were fans.
Were they?
They were fans because I have two brothers that were like living up there, and they were like, oh my god, that's crazy. I'm like, dude, that's so weird. It's weird to know that like they didn't realize, you know what I mean? Like they watched it and were fans of it, but didn't even know it was fucking weird, man. That's a whole nother fucking ordeal. Like that whole situation is just weird. Missed like just a whole nother fucking family in another state, and
Yeah, right, huh?
just a whole nother, just
Hey,
creepy.
he didn't
like,
know. He had no idea.
yeah, like the whole thing was like not creepy, but like just awkward and fucking. Because it was like, I know they exist, they don't know I exist. Because when I found them, like I was like, all right, I'll drop the bomb on them. I'll let them know.
My father had a son right before he passed away.
Okay.
And he was adopted. He was taken away from him. And so sometimes I wonder, because I'm a junior,
Oh.
I'm like if that kid ever like goes to track down his father or whatever, because he was real young.
So that's your brother.
in a way. He would be
Whoa.
my brother. Yeah.
That you guys
What is
look
that?
so similar.
Yeah, that's my dad. And
Oh,
then that was
man.
when I looked on his fucking. That was the
Oh,
picture.
you're
I was
like,
like,
it's real.
I was like, fuck, it was funny because he was
Yeah,
like,
that's
he's
my
like,
dad.
he's like,
Yep,
oh man, I
that's the
see your
one.
pictures.
Yep.
It's like a time machine looking like 30 years back. I'm like, yeah, but I'm looking 30 years forward. I'm like, fuck that, that's fucking crazy. So all right, man, that's fucking crazy, man. What else? What do we got left?
You have
bro?
to tell them about the Chinese.
Oh, dude. So we had this, where the tattoo shop is, right in the next room. I used to have like a vape shop in there. It used to be a vape store. And, like e-cigarettes and all that crazy shit. We used to make our own juice back here. And we would order all our stuff directly from China. All our products came from China. You get on those websites and you get a distributor and you're ordering, by the thousands, pieces, the little batteries, these, like little pieces like this. You're getting them, and so we used for our billing address, look at the fucking ninja reflex there. So, for our business billing and all that stuff, we didn't have anything come here. We would just send it to the house. So for some fucking weird reason, our distributor was in town for some convention, and it was like 11:30 at night, and I get a fucking knock on my doorbell at home. And here they are, like the people that own this Chinese company that, we order all our shit from, they got kicked out of their hotel. And they came to the fucking house with their suitcases and shit And as I open the door, they're like, okay. They're like in Chinese. They're like telling the
And
taxi
no
driver.
English.
See you later. we're
Yeah, I'm
home.
like, no, wait. Wait, I was like running down the street.
How many of them?
4 of them.
With suitcases.
With their suitcases.
And
What-
the people that
And
you
they were-
ordered your
Thought they
vape
were
stuff
staying
from.
at our house.
Did they?
Were they in
No.
town delivering your stuff, or they were?
They were here for a convention. There was like the big e-cigarette, whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
But they missed, their travel agent
Their
misbooked
travel
their
agent.
time.
There was a mix-up with, you know, like the traveling, you know, through the different time zones.
Did you let them in?
No, fuck no.
That's
it was
ballsy.
Would they have
of
let
them.
you in?
no, fuck no,
I don't
hell
think
no.
so. They wouldn't have either. would
Dude,
they?
and the guy was like a dick
What were
about
they
it.
thinking?
They were like, oh,
Yeah,
they're like,
that's what I'm saying.
and they're like, it was like weird
That's
because
ballsy.
he was
Just
like,
like,
Go to
I'm here
Mike's
now.
house.
he had an
How would they
iPad.
say that in Chinese?
Yeah, well, he had an iPad.
Yeah.
And he had it like on some like translator thing, so he would like type it in, and then he would show it to me, and it would show like he would type it in Chinese, and it would show me in English.
So he
Mike-
spoke.
Mikey
Oh, so he didn't
No.
speak
Nope.
English.
Sorry.
And I,
No.
I was like, let me see that. No.
So it was like he would text out, "Can we stay here?"
Yeah, well, first he texts, he's like, oh, your offices look so different here in America. I'm like, this is my house.
You're like you're making small talk for real.
Yeah, like, I was like, you're on my porch, and I was like, don't leave. The cab driver's still there. He's like, fuck this, I gotta go. And I felt bad because the cab driver long-hauled the fuck out of him.
Did he?
Like, super bad, like
Take him out to
50,
Laughlin.
50 miles out of the way. Like, from Mandalay Bay to Southern Highlands, he took, he went the long way around.
He did the whole loop.
He did 15 north
Yeah.
instead of just south to like
And you know
Cactus.
people do. You know they do that a lot. That's
Dude, he
too
went-
bad. That's too bad.
He went 15 north to the 95 all the way around back to the 215 and got off at Las Vegas Boulevard and then went south from there. So he put like 40 miles on
it
the
is a
trip.
bowl, but if you don't know the city, you can loop somebody around real quick.
Yeah, especially if
Ooh,
they
I
don't
fuck
speak the
up all
language.
I'm still like, why didn't you let them stay?
Oh no, dude! I have like little kids in the house. This dude's like fucking smoking
If
cigarettes.
you didn't have
Oh,
kids,
You know, and that's
Would
the whole
you?
thing is like probably
No.
if
No.
I didn't have kids.
She
or
says no, but
her,
would you?
If it
Yeah.
was just me by myself, sure, I'd have fucking
Yeah,
come on
come on in.
You know, we'd have had some fun. We'd have got all fucked up and shit. But
Made marshmallow, like we'd have been out there doing
Marshmallows.
s'mores held back and shit. It's like,
fucking cooking the rabbits and shit.
yeah.
But so I ended up getting him a room and shit. I was like, dude, this is the
Wait, so you got
weirdest-
him a room? Oh, you helped book him a room.
Yeah, and then I yelled at the cab driver and I made him call his boss and got them that fair move.
Oh, yeah?
I like did
Yeah,
that.
that's
I was
cool,
like, call
that's
your
cool.
fucking. I was like, dude, because I was like, where'd you guys come from? They're like Mandalay Bay, and I looked. I was like, why is it $97?
Yeah.
You know, because we're like super close. So we Uber there, and it's like $8 or $9.
And imagine being in China
Yeah.
and you get kicked out of your hotel. You're there for a convention and
Yeah.
you don't know anyone except for the guy that you've been sending your stuff to.
Like your best
Right,
customer. Like,
yeah,
we have a
yeah,
client.
exactly, you know?
And so they thought they were coming. If they showed
I'm
up
not
here,
they
going
would come
there.
to the office.
I'm gonna find a hotel and I'm gonna go in there.
Yeah, I don't know
and-
why they wouldn't have found another hotel.
They're everywhere. We're in Vegas. They're literally everywhere.
every corner.
you know,
Every corner.
these are wealthy people. You know what I mean?
You know
Like,
they've traveled before. Like
Like,
if
for
you were
sure.
coming to a convention, like it's not like baby's day out. Like
Yeah.
this is your first time leaving the house.
Yeah.
With supplies of vapes. Let's go to
They
Vegas.
just didn't want to pay.
But, like, if
that's
they-
it. They just didn't want to pay.
If they came here, I'd let them stay here. I'd be like, here, fuck it. Like, there's nothing to steal here. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to take it
Yeah.
to China? You know,
I would have had. I don't know, man.
everything
I might
there's
have-
cheap.
I might have had. I love Chinese food. I
I
might
don't.
have had.
But listen to me. Have you ever had real Chinese food?
It's not as good, is it?
Chicken feet.
Show them the picture. You got that
Oh,
picture?
no.
I have.
Who the fuck's eating
I-
chicken feet?
Chinese,
I have
dude, they
pictures.
eat.
That seems like
fucking-
it would be tough.
But like, so she works. She's a dealer, and she works with a lot of people from China. What we see as Chinese food is not.
No, it's. I knew it was Americanized.
It's disgusting
right?
to
Yeah.
them.
It's and for us it's great. It's fucking noodles and it's fried and it's sugar sauce and it's
I like
amazing.
Americanized.
I like
food.
American Italian food and American Chinese food. They're
American
better than I
Italian food's
do.
pretty close to authentic
American
Italian
Chinese food, yeah. That's
But
good.
like and there's even like New York Chinese food and San Francisco Chinese food. There's like different styles.
I like when and you guys would know more of it out here. I just love how in LA and I don't know if they still do. They would have all those donut shops
Everywhere.
with the Chinese restaurants right in it. Like
Yeah,
it just,
Korean and Chinese.
I
Yeah.
don't know why, but I mean it's a good combo, I guess, right? But like I remember the first time seeing it, it's like that's donuts and Chinese food.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a common thing. too.
Yeah, get one to stay and one to
I
go.
think that's because
Chinese make both.
they're usually Vietnamese that do donut shops, and a lot of Vietnamese were born, or Chinese born in Vietnam.
Yeah, well, and that's what I figured. It was probably something they knew how to make, like
Yeah.
culturally, like
Yeah.
I just.
Oh man, I don't. It's funny too. Like when you go to
How
like
many Chinese buffets have you eaten in your life?
Okay.
I couldn't count.
I'll roll the dice on a Chinese buffet. I've eaten them before.
Eat what, like
She
a
will
handful?
not.
I've probably
I
eaten
won't.
1,000. You know, you don't eat Chinese buffets?
Nope.
Oh, can I
Sit
give a
down.
bad
She's
review?
vegan.
Can I give a
I-
bad
I-
review place in town I ate
Yeah.
the other night?
Yeah.
I didn't like it, man. I went to the Asia buffet. Where is that?
Flamingo and
Oh,
Eastern?
No, the other side of town then. Rainbow and Sahara area.
Okay.
That one there? Because
Uh-huh.
I drive by it all the time. And I,
think
like
it's the same
Chinese
place. I think you
buffets.
have
I think it's the
multiple,
same, yeah. Overpriced. And it was just, I didn't like the food. I
Well,
think,
buffets as a whole are overpriced,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not good quality. You don't want that.
There's some good buffets in town,
There's some awesome buffets in town.
There's quantity. There are
but
so many
those ones are
buffets
50,
here.
$60.
I tell people, like, working on the bus, and I'll tell tourists when they're like, oh, I'll go down to the Main Street buffet and eat for $10 because the other tour guide just said to do that.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, before you go eat at the Main Street buffet, that's the same buffet you're getting at home.
Here's
That's
the
at
trick.
low end.
If you're a single guy, like you could pull this off just fine. Just walk in like you just got back from the bathroom, grab a plate, and just walk around and eat.
Yeah.
You don't even need to pay for the fucking buffet. Like that's what we used to do in high school. We used to just walk around with our plate.
Nobody's gonna question you if you
yeah,
look
like-
confident. If
yeah.
you're like, yeah, I've been here.
Yeah, like you
this
don't
is
just-
round two. for
What they
me.
do is they're waiting to see where you're going to sit down, but you're not going to sit down. You're going to narf that pizza.
And I'll wait you out. Yeah, right. I'll wait you out
Run
over
in,
here at the
grab-
chicken fingers.
Yeah, I'll act like I'm waiting for a
Okay,
slice of roast beef.
So this is a picture. My friend was like, "Hey, do you want some chicken?" And I'm like, "Sure."
This is
So
Chinese food.
she goes to the side and she kind of like her, like I'm over here and she's got her back and I'm like, "Oh no, I want to see. I want to see what I'm eating."
Yeah, I
She's
wanna
like,
show
"No,
No,
No.
no, you don't.
this is
Oh.
what she's serving me."
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, it's chicken,
Yeah, did she put it? She coated?
but it's all
I'm
the
being
it's all the crazy
I mean,
shit.
there's a beak and there's toenails. like,
Now, this is something she eats regularly?
yes,
This is like her meal
So
prep.
did you try it?
no.
I mean, in the end of the day, like
No.
if you
I'm a when in Rome kind of guy. If you're gonna have a bite, I'm gonna have a bite. Like if I legitimately believe
Like you could
this
hang
is
with
a
Bourdain?
cultural thing.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, I could.
No.
Like yeah, I would try it. I might throw up. Like as long as no one's gonna get offended if I vomit all over the place.
Mikey
I'll
had
give it a
chicken
go.
feet before with toenails on them.
yeah, I tried it. I mean, I'll try.
You know what? As long as I don't know what it is. Usually
they're
I'm fine.
looking at you. They're like looking.
I had I was
Drenching in
doing
sauce.
a move in San Diego a long
Blend it
time
up.
ago.
Yeah.
And me and my brother Mike, and we were at the hotel, and we ordered some. I ordered an Italian sausage. Whatever we
Yeah.
ordered, I forget like everything, but I remember I ordered this Italian sausage, and they deliver it, and I start eating it, and I didn't like I'm a couple bites in. We were hot, tired. I was hungry.
Yeah.
A couple bites in, I'm like, what the fuck? And I look at it, it's not Italian sausage, right? And I show it to my brother. I said, what the fuck is this? And he was like, I don't know, but that's not sausage.
Was it a
And
Rocky
so
Mountain oyster?
I start panicking, right? I call the restaurant up, and I said, you guys just delivered a sub here, and it's, I ordered an Italian sub. I ordered an Italian sausage grinder, and this is not what it is. This is exactly what the guy told me. I said, what the fuck is it? And he goes, it's the best.
It's the best.
I said, this is a true story. I said, what do you mean? It's the best. He goes, we only serve the best here. So whatever it is, that's the best. I said, fuck off, man. What is this? Right? Like,
He never told you?
tell
No,
me.
and I don't actually, it was so long ago, I don't remember what I had to do to mentally get over what happened there.
Yeah.
But I think I told myself it was like a gizzard or something
Yeah.
that had gotten in there. And,
It could have been a
You
big
know
I
ass.
it
probably
wasn't.
finished it. Knowing me, like back in my wild
Finish
days,
that
I
sentence.
probably
Finish that
finished it.
sentence.
Like if
What
it
was
was
it?
good, it was probably Rocky Mountain oysters. Probably some big old cow balls.
It was no, because
Yep,
it was a
that's
big.
what I
It
was
was like a
hoping it
big
would be.
link. It was.
I was
for
like,
the,
yeah.
I don't know what.
It could have been homemade sausage, loosely.
Do you crave that?
So much.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've eaten lots of weird stuff over the years.
I try not to, but like I said, if it was a survival situation or like if we're traveling and we're like in the
That's
fucking
totally different. What
Yeah.
would you
not
not
eat it.
eat
You would not eat
for
it.
survival?
You tried to eat a sushi roll and threw it
Oh,
out.
I got into
No.
sushi. I'm into
We
sushi.
do
I'm
too. We
into
love
that.
it, but his
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
at the beginning, it was
But I
not
tried
good,
it,
right?
and I'm here. I'm
It's
a,
the
I'm a
texture.
high level eater now. You know what I mean?
I saw sushi for the first time when I was like 10. Marshfield, Mass. My father worked on a tuna boat.
Yeah.
And
oh,
so
shit.
they would bring the tunas in. And I remember, so I knew at a young age that tunas weighed like 1,200 pounds.
Yeah.
That this was a big fish. And so he worked with this Japanese company on and off. I remember being over there a lot. But and they would be eating sushi, and I was so
Yeah.
disgusting. It probably wasn't until my late 20s that I ate the first piece of sushi that I stomached. Now I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, same with me. Like it was, but again, like I said, I tried. I knew I didn't like it, Like I just didn't like it, but I knew it was good, but the fishiness of some of it was like,
Yeah, it's a
There's,
texture.
there's a
You know?
place
It really
all the
is.
way west I went to a couple of weeks ago. It was so like it was an all-you-can-eat one, but it was really good. And the guy and the staff in there was awesome. And they're like, if you don't finish that one, we'll switch it out. And I was just
I'll
sitting there
take you to some
trying.
good. You said you live like in the Southwest.
Yeah, over by 215 in Sunset area
Okay, you're not too far. There's some good spots over there. We go to a spot right there on
Rainbow.
what is it? Rainbow.
on Rainbow.
Rainbow and what is it?
215.
Sunset.
What's it called?
I don't know.
That might be the spot.
give 'em a shout
That,
out.
that's
I
the
don't know.
area. Like that might be the place.
They have angel wings on the wall.
Trying to think if they have angels.
Inside?
But so
it
like
was
what-
right on the corner of the building.
So
Like,
like
it's
last
the
time
first,
we
like, you
went,
go in there
last
and it
time we
was-
went, we sat up on the sushi bar and I was like telling the dude like, we'll try some shit, and he was like giving us pieces of other people's shit, and he gave us some whitefish. Remember that? He was
Oh,
like,
I must have tried like 10 different.
Yeah,
like,
he
I
was-
mean, like different types.
but it was
you know?
fucking, it was really good. You
Yeah.
know, like it was something I never had or I wouldn't order either.
You
but
smother it in
all
wasabi?
no, we just ate it with a little bit of he put like a little bit of garlic ponzu on it, and it was good to go. I don't do the wasabi and ginger.
Me either.
I like.
I don't do it.
Oh, I like.
You eat sushi. Do you eat fish? You will eat fish.
Yeah, I just tell people I'm vegan because it's easier than saying the list of things that I don't eat. I do eat fish.
But you're a pretty humble vegan.
I like to think so.
You don't like a cartwheel in your face. I'm vegan. You know, like most vegans do.
I
That was,
really don't like that.
Anna, huh?
Is it a health thing?
Yes.
Or
It's both.
Okay.
It just makes me feel good. It really does. That's it. I mean, every reason you can think of, I've thought about it, and I've been like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm just used to it now.
That works.
That you just don't eat meat.
Yeah, I just don't eat meat.
Red
No, I
meat or
don't
chicken?
do eggs or like milk or anything. I love chicken. I think chicken tastes so good. It's not that I don't like meat. I think it tastes amazing.
Chicken's great.
Chicken is great. Chicken in
Good in so many
anything.
ways.
Yeah.
But I just don't eat it.
That's all.
I went vegetarian for a month once.
It
I
makes
was-
you
I did
feel
for a couple
different.
years.
I gained about 20 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, because you're eating super carbs and cheese, right?
And
Yeah.
ice cream,
Yep.
right? Because I didn't like vegetables. So I
Yeah.
was just sitting there. I'm like, oh, because my roommate at the time, he's a Buddhist monk now, and so like
Yeah.
he was that was his whole thing. He was just eating healthy. I said, I'm going to try to be a vegetarian, get healthy.
Nice.
Gained 20 pounds eating Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, when I was
I wanna
vegetarian for
die
a
if I
while,
don't eat
and
meat.
what I ended up eating was like cheese sandwiches. Like I would go to
Yeah.
like somewhere and just get like a cheese sub, and I'm
Pasta,
like,
2
It's
pounds
tough.
of pasta.
Like,
When you start out, it's tough.
you got to like it's hard because your body goes into like weird cravings and shit,
Yeah.
and then you end up just like you said, you end up just eating pasta.
Yeah.
Like I'll just eat a fucking big bowl of spaghetti or 2 or 3, and then like you said, with cheese and all that other dumb shit, and then yeah, it was bad. It was a really bad health decision for me.
So you don't hunt?
I do
Do you hunt?
Yeah.
What do you hunt?
everything I can.
I've
I
only
went out
gone
one
like
day
twice.
elk hunting. I got a cow elk.
You
Drove
got
at
one?
like 4 in the morning. Drove up there.
What'd it
I
weigh?
think I hiked in 7 miles.
Wow.
Backpacked out 5 miles with it on my back and my 13-year-old cousin.
Yeah, they quartered it in the field,
Quartered it out,
dressed it.
everything.
She
Oh, yeah.
backpacked it
Backpacked it
out.
out.
Nice.
She's like a picture of her walking out of the wilderness with like a leg sticking out of her backpack and like a rifle.
back home.
I'm like, okay.
Get back home. He has the fire ready to go. We just put the meat right on the fire.
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
was
wait. I've
What
been
was-
home
Did you
with
grow
kids
up
cleaning?
hunting though?
We moved.
Yeah,
We
that
had
makes
moved, and so I was supposed to go too. But like we literally like when we planned our hunting trip a year in advance, we didn't plan on our house closing that weekend either. So like we are moving, and I was like, fuck. Like one of us can't go. Like we have to finish the move and like make sure the other house is clean and get into the new house and blah blah. We were moving out of one rental.
We'll send the wife.
And then, her cousin's the guide, so I was like, fuck
I
it,
love
you
that.
go. Her cousin's the fucking, one of the best, like, Nevada guides there is and shit. Take you right.
spots.
We took us deer hunting. We, like, literally drove up to him, shot him, then we, like, drove to the next one, shot
He's
it.
like, stop, stop. And we're like, what? He's like, there's a deer. I'm like, where? And we're looking with our binoculars. We don't
He's
see
like,
it.
way out there. And I'm like, fuck, you want me to shoot that thing way out there? I'm like, all right, fuck
Yeah,
it.
he's really good.
But, like, he literally, like, we went deer hunting, and he, like, literally, we drove, like, straight. He's like, there's a deer. It's going to be there. I'm like, he's like, I've been hanging out.
I
He's
know
like,
it.
yeah, he's like, I've been hanging out in this field every day for 3 weeks. And this deer comes over the ridge, and he eats his breakfast and goes back over. And I'm like, so we're going to get him a breakfast. Like, it's like, and it's sure enough, we drive to the spot, and here he fucking comes, like,
So what time did you get him?
right after daybreak. It's like early.
Yeah, 'cause you get out there. What time did you head out in there?
Oh, man, we missed a deer once.
But I got my elk around, I'm going to say like 11.
Yeah.
in the
11.
morning, yeah.
Did you get out there at like
But
4
our deer
though?
we got at like 7 a.m. or-
No, earlier than that. It was like
was early.
daybreak. It was like, you know.
Because like, yeah, I know in New Hampshire, like I've only gone a couple of times, and like my friends, they go a lot, and they're just like, oh, you know, we're going hunting tomorrow. Like, all right, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna meet up 3:30,
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts. We get out in the woods by 4.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
no.
You know,
terrible.
and they're like,
Yeah.
and then you sit there in the fucking
Forever.
cold.
And
That
Until
does
they
not
wake
Because
up.
in
sound
New
appealing.
Hampshire, it's in November.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like bitter cold
Here
out
too,
there.
it's cold because we have to
Yeah.
go up.
We gotta go to the mountains.
and-
And you sit there and wait, and everything you hear, you want to shoot.
He fucking took us somewhere, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta go to like Bass Pro Shops. You gotta get this big, fucking coverall. You know, like Ralph in Christmas Story, like that big fucking." So I come out looking like the fucking camo marshmallow man, just like this. I'm wearing like a bedspread, you know, and like I just come like waddling up, and he's like, "Yeah, we gotta walk like 4 miles from where we park," and I'm like, "Oh my god, bro, this is
Oh
the fucking."
my
It's like uphill. You're walking, you know what I mean? Like fuck. And we didn't shoot anything that day, but like I remember being like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
What
is
was
this?
it worth?
Yeah, but the next
did I
time we
do
went, you know, but it was like weird. But the next time we went, we like literally like he was like, "There's a deer, it's gonna be there," and then we shot it, got it fucking chopped up and put in the back of the fucking like in the ice buckets in the back of the truck, and we drove like a couple 100 feet, and there was the next deer. Like he had been watching us chop his buddy up, and I was like, just he's like, "Oh, they're leaving." I was hopped out like, "No, boom, you're done."
I
Gotcha.
got
away.
mine and he got his.
He's like, I'm the
An hour
lucky
later.
one.
Jumping out of the car shooting
Yes.
these things?
Yeah, we were
Yes.
hunting. We were like hunting from the road.
Doing
and it was
rolls
like,
out the side.
Yeah, just like
On
hopped
one
out,
knee.
fucking shot my deer, and
I would,
fucking.
yeah, we had to trek because, yeah, we would trek. I never shot at anything, but like, what's the point? There is something about sitting out there watching that sun come up with
Yeah.
a gun in your hand. It's kind of trying to
And
be
you'll
the
see
hunter,
like a
right?
fox
Yeah.
take a rabbit off and
Yeah, you
Oh,
see all
oh,
kinds of
yeah.
crazy, beautiful nature stuff. I was
Scary.
my buddy. I was like, I want to take some pictures out there. He's like, you gonna shoot or you gonna, you know? I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna
That's
shoot,
what
but I
I
want
would
to shoot with
do.
my
Just-
camera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, take pictures the whole time.
But I tell you, if you took a hunter's approach to photography, you would get some of the best.
You just have to be
photography
so
you're gonna get.
patient. Yeah.
That's photography too, right? Like you
Patience.
got to get out there and just sit there and wait.
Good lord.
But it,
But yeah, no,
Started.
like you said, like you watch those like National Geographic guys. They go all out for the shot.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that. I would
They, like,
love an
helicopter.
expedition. I would go. I would. It would not surprise me if this whole story ended with me getting mauled by a lion in Africa.
Really?
It's like, how did it end for Ralph? Well, he was taking a photo of a lion.
you'd probably be okay
yeah.
with that though.
I am okay with that. Are
should
you
go.
kidding me?
after his second Netflix special,
But you
Ralph.
should go onto one of those farms.
Oh
like
yeah,
that-
give me some money to go on some of these expeditions. Like now we're going to Bangkok.
That's my thing too. Like I'm always been afraid. Like if I ever got like stupid rich, I don't know if I'd be able to like be ground like not travel.
I think
I'd be out.
Yeah.
I think I could do it now and not be like the drug guy that I would have been like younger.
That's
And
what I'm
now,
saying.
yeah, but now and I have no kids. It would be on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, I'm out. Let's go. And I have someone in my life. I'd tell them come with me, but I'm jumping around. I'm going to. You know, in my adventures, I love that I've met some people in Australia, and I'm always like, I want to get down there. I want to
Yeah.
get down to Sydney, and these guys would like literally. If I get to Sydney, I know these guys. I'd be like, hey, put together a bar show for me. I want to make sure I at least do
Yeah.
one show when I go over there.
Have you been? You've never been?
To Australia? You know the only place I've been outside of the United States, Tijuana.
Oh,
Right?
dude.
That is the
Wow.
only. I've been to every state in the U.S. and most of them several times.
I'm the
But the
opposite.
only time I crossed the border was when I was house sitting with a roommate for a doctor down in San Diego. Gorgeous house, and we went to Tijuana for the day.
I almost went to jail in Australia
I believe it.
for
I believe that
having
could happen.
what did I have? NyQuil,
NyQuil.
Sudafed,
night-
It was all the
Robitussin.
tattoos on his legs that.
It triggered him.
Well, this was
Yeah.
this was
You're
this
like,
was
I'm
also
sick, dog.
this was a lot of years before tattoos were as
Exactly.
commercialized as they are. It was like
The pre-commercial now.
before like everybody had tattoos. Like it was like when just bad guys had tattoos. So we get there and like they're already tripping on my tattoos, and we're about to go through customs, and the line's like super long.
That's annoying.
It's like you're getting on the fucking arc and the world's gonna end. It's just this nonstop line of people going through customs. Like 3 jumbo jets just hit the terminal, and it's late. And we have to catch our ride. We don't have cell phones. It's like 2005, right? And we didn't have like international cell phones or none of that.
Yeah.
So we just had to like know like, okay, our flight was on time. Our ride's gonna be in X spot. And so the guy, we're like all the way in the back of the line. This customs guy comes. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Nothing." He's like, "Just take a walk with me." And I was like, "Fuck." She's like, "Oh, how nice! They're gonna take us to the
he's
front
so
of the line." I'm like, I think I'm about to go to jail. Like this guy's a fucking cop. And they take us in a room, and it was kind of like just this room. It was just walls and a table. Like you see like on First 48,
Yeah.
it was like just the table. And I'm like, they're
So
like,
you're immediately intimidated.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is bad. And they go, yeah, we found something in your bag. You want to talk about it? And I'm like, the fuck was in mine? Because we had just come from Hawaii. So
Yeah,
I was
then
like,
you start thinking about it and you're like, oh no, what was in there?
yeah, there was no drugs or guns. Like I said, I had already traveled from here to Hawaii. I spent a couple days in Hawaii, and I was coming from Hawaii to Australia. I was like, there's nothing in my bag. And he's like, yeah, we found a lot of it. There's a lot of it in there. And I'm like, oh my God, someone put something in my bag. Like, and that's what happens in that part of the world. Like the air crew will smuggle heroin
Send it in.
and send it in your bag and hope to pick it off before you get it. And your luggage will just come up missing. But what happened is they hid a bunch of fucking heroin in it. So I'm like, oh, fuck. And he's like, yeah, can you explain this? And it's a bottle of like NyQuil. I had like the sniffles in Hawaii.
A single bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a single
because
bottle.
it's illegal.
It's
There's, something
it's
in
like a
it
Schedule
that's
1
illegal.
narcotic. Yeah.
It should knock you off your ass, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
So over there, it's not over the counter like it is over here.
prescription.
And I was like, dude, I'm trying
We
to
were
just
like,
catch my
throw it
ride.
away. We don't care.
Yeah, I was
Throw
like-
it away. And they're like, no.
They're like, no, this is serious. And
We're
I'm
not
like,
throwing it away.
I thought we were on like Punked or something. I was like, dude, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, you
It's
start laughing,
NyQuil,
like relieved. You're like,
Yeah, and I'm
good
like,
one.
dude, this is
And then they're
NyQuil.
like, so where are you staying? We're like,
And then they thought I was being
We don't
like
know.
uncooperative because I'm like, I don't know.
well, who are you staying
Like,
with?
what
Yeah,
is
you're like,
that
I
in,
actually do not
Well,
know.
this is their names.
My cousin
what's
Vinny.
the
That's
address?
exactly what it was like. I shot the clerk.
We
I
don't
shot the
know.
clerk. You shot the clerk.
Yeah, and I was like, no. They're like, where are you
What's their
staying?
phone numbers?
We don't know.
And then it doesn't help at all. Like it doesn't. So they're like, well, we'll help you find your ride. And then our buddy's outside picking us up in a Rolls Royce, and I'm like, fuck, we're drug dealers. We're fucking drug dealers. I'm like,
Making
fuck.
bank off of this NyQuil industry.
Fucking
we got
this
going.
fucking Rolls Royce pulls up, and I'm like, there's my ride, bro. And he's like, are you serious? I
But
was
that
like,
was
so
the
you did-
best trip ever. We
Have you-
fed
was it the only
kangaroos,
Rolls
held
Royce you've
koala
been in?
bears.
What's
Like,
that?
It was
Was that the only Rolls
amazing.
Royce you've been in?
no.
He
You like
drove a
them?
Rolls Royce for
I used to have
Oh,
one.
wow.
I think they're my dream car, but I'm not sure because I can't
Nah.
get inside one.
no.
I used to be in the car business. I've had every car you can imagine. I have a fucking Prius now.
It doesn't have to be all about the motor. How cool is it to ride around the Rolls?
It's fucking cool. It's fucking cool.
Cool factor's big.
Like it is. But like for me, I'm the
Yeah,
opposite.
but every girl in town would try to stop you at the light and try to jump in the
Sounds
car.
terrible.
Yeah, horrible.
Right? I know I don't want one of those.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. It's
He had
really
people
high
try
profile.
to rob him.
It's like really high profile.
Yeah.
The weekend before the October shooting, fucking these dudes. I was driving down Las Vegas Boulevard, and it was like the day before the shooting at the Mandalay Bay, and these cholo dudes pull up, like, hey, what's up, man? And I'm like, what's up? And they're like, that's your ride? And I'm like, well, fucking driving it, And they're like, okay. And then like the
No.
light turned green, and they were like, they like slowed down and got behind me, and I was like, oh shit. Like, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm in a fucking, like fucking supercharged V12, I'm out of here. And I remember just like, boom, and they couldn't keep up, and I was like, all right, fuck it.
Have you ever been robbed?
Never like at
Gun or
gunpoint.
knife point? Like outside of the home.
I got mugged by hypodermic needle in San Francisco.
Good move on their part.
They have these
Nobody
public,
wants that.
yeah, they have
Right.
these fucking public bathrooms where like you would put quarters in and then turn the knob. You ever seen those?
Is it, yeah, you got to pay to.
You like pay and you turn the knob and open. You go in. So like my buddy and I were like, fuck it, we'll just go in together. We go in there. And
Boston put one on the harbor. It pissed me off. The
Yeah.
first time I saw it, I was like, when did they start doing that?
These were down in like Union Square, I think, or in the Tenderloin area, like San Francisco. And we go in, and this dude was like behind the door, and he like popped out. He was like, ah! And I was like, what the fuck is that? He had a needle, and he grabbed my buddy, and he put it to his neck. And he was like, give me all your shit, or I'm going to give your buddy like AIDS and hepatitis. And I was like, oh shit.
Give him the shit, give him the shit.
Yeah, so like we like threw everything, and then like he was like so fucked up on drugs, he forgot to leave first. So he's like, now get the fuck out of here. And then we left, and we're like, hey, he's still in there. So we just waited for him to come out and shit and beat him up.
You also got robbed by the cops in Tijuana, right?
I got robbed by cops in Mexico.
Tijuana's
By
crazy.
cops?
Yeah, shit was fucking. We were filming some fights down there. We were, like filming some fights, and there was this fight, like unlicensed fights. We were doing like the bum fights, and we heard about it. We talked to the guy that was running the fights, and he was like, well, basically what we do is we'll just like have fights in these alleys behind these bars in Tijuana. And a lot of the guys that were fighting for money they were like San Diego State college students, and
Yeah.
they were like
Fighting,
regular
street
dudes.
fighting.
It was just like bare knuckle boxing. So they're like, yeah, you can come down and film it. You got to give us like $500. And I think those guys set us up to get robbed by the cops because they're like, these dudes are going to be down here with camera equipment and blah, 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 blah. Because this fights have been going on for a long ass time. And the time that we went to film it, they got like kind of like raided. And then we tried to run and the cops were like, oh no. They like took our shoes. They like
They
made
knew
us.
you guys.
They took everything.
They singled us out of everybody. It was like us three, and it was like go to the ATM. Like one cop took all our ATM cards and left and came back, and like he came back and he like stopped at the end of the alley, and he like gave like okay they're good, you know, and then like like now they can go. Otherwise we do. Who fucking knows?
There's
But-
nothing you can do about that. It's a cop. Like,
Yeah, and they
in a foreign
fucking
country.
In a
Yeah.
different country.
and it was like dude, it was like that was pre 9/11. You know what I mean? So it was like a different.
Yeah.
It was just different down there. Like there was no like U.S. help didn't exist. Now there's a lot more like U.S. stuff done, but I heard it's worse now than it was then. I don't know. I haven't really been back.
I wouldn't want to go to Mexico prison. I know that. I don't want to go to prison at all.
Yeah.
But I know Mexico's not somewhere I would want to do it. You know?
But that was the worst. Like getting robbed by like the dude with the hypodermic needle. That was like a crazy like what the fuck.
I had a guy rob me try to rob me in Hollywood when I was like 19, and we had been up for days. We were young
Yeah.
and wild. We had been up for days and just taken a heavy sedative to go to bed. And we were at one friend's house. I lived on Hollywood and Vine.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So we're well, actually no, on Cahuenga.
Okay.
So we're heading over to Cahuenga from this other place, and the sedative's kicking in. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna go to bed. And I remember walking up the road, and this guy just jumps out, pulls a knife out, and he's like, "Give me all your fucking money."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, you picked the wrong guy." I looked around, my friends had already disappeared. They were like, Travis was hiding behind a car on one side of the street. I don't even know
Fucking
where the
Travis.
fuck Phil went.
Yeah.
And I was just standing there like, and so he's literally got this knife to me, and he's like, "Give me all your money." I said, "You got the wrong guy. I ain't got no money."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I ain't fucking around." And I remember I'm like 19 from New Hampshire, I'm out
You're
in
being
LA.
honest. You're like,
yeah,
"No,
and I
I
emptied
really
my
don't have
pockets
money."
and I'm like, "Listen, man, if you want to go down the boulevard, I can probably try to help you get some money. What is it? What are you trying to get?"
We'll team up.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he literally like puts
on
a
his
knife in
side.
my face and he's like, "I'll see you around, motherfucker," and he just takes off.
He's like,
Wait,
what day
I
you get
helped
paid
you.
on? You get paid on, Ralph. He knows your
I tried to
name.
rob Mikey a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, like the other day, like fuck, I forgot about that. I went. There was a car for sale on Craigslist. You know, I buy and sell cars and shit. And I told her, I was like, man, this is. I told her like this is too good to be true, but I'm gonna fucking
Check it
play it out. And it was like an old K5 Blazer, you know, where the top comes off. And I was like, that car's worth like $20,000. This dude's only asking $5,000. But I've gotten lucky like that on Craigslist, you know, because it's
Somebody needs
Vegas.
money
And
fast, whatever, yeah.
so I call him and I'm like, he's not going to call me back. It's fake. It's a scam. He's going to ask me to like wire him something or get access to our bank or our debit card or something. And he's like, oh no, I'll meet you. He's like, you want to meet up at 2:00? And I'm like, yeah, fucking.
Afternoon? 2
Yeah,
o'clock?
2 o'clock in the
Broad
afternoon. It was like, what was it, like Sunday afternoon? It was last Sunday. And I'm like, all right, cool. I got some like real estate shit to do and I'll pop over and I'll see you. He gave me like some business address and it looked like the car was in the garage at the business. And I'm like, that's weird. And the license plates were in the car. I was like, this okay. So I go there and then he's like, hey, meet me somewhere else. So now we flip the meet and I'm like, okay. So he's like, I'll meet you at this Walgreens on Blue Diamond in Decatur. And I was like, all right, I'll meet you there. So I pull up and I get out of the car and I'm like, I see him because I'm talking to him on, it wasn't Craigslist, it was Facebook Messenger. And I seen his picture and it was really fucking him. And I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? And he fucking looks at me and he looks over and this fucking dude pulled up on the Blue Diamond side, on Blue Diamond, and he hopped in his car and just peeled out and left. Like the fucking getaway car.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then he texted me, he's like, oh, we sold the car. And I'm like, what the
So was he
Like, you
sizing
think I'm
you up?
dumb?
I think he sized me up, you know what I mean? And I had a
think he-
pistol on me, and I put my
I think
T-shirt
he
behind
got
it.
out of the car and was like, nope, wrong guy.
Yeah, like I'm not fucking robbing this dude, you know.
I don't know. Yeah, because
And then I texted him, and I was like, hey, bro, I think you just tried to fucking rob me, and I just want to let you know, like that was the best choice you ever made by not doing it. And then he blocked me.
he had no response. right?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck was that? I
Remind
was
me
like,
to take you when I need a car.
yeah, it was like super weird. I was like, this is fucking like this dude tried to fucking jack me.
I was down in I was in New Orleans once, and I was looking for a place to rent. And I had a good chunk of change on me, and I remember walking down there, and all of a sudden I see this car up on the cinder blocks, and I'm like, I'm probably a little further in the hood than I
Yeah.
should be. And then I go a little further down, and there's just this one guy I'll never forget. He's just sitting there on the corner, and he just looks right at me, and I'm a young, still almost a kid, and he's like, bad idea.
Yeah,
He's like, I wouldn't. And then he doesn't say another word. He just sits there. And I remember looking like,
He's like the
I think
gatekeeper.
you're right, man. I think I'm gonna stay out of there. But when you're bigger size, people ask me like some of the time, like you hitchhike here and there. I'm 6'2", and most of my life I've weighed well over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a victim, it's normally not going to be me.
That's- yeah.
Statistically, I'm all right, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to be the victim,
Yeah.
right? Like,
time.
you know, and that's it.
Don't hitchhike.
You know, yeah,
I
don't
want
hitchhike.
Don't hitchhike.
No, get it.
She's like, I want to.
Get
She's
it.
I would
asking.
like to be able
She's
to.
like, what's the best way to live out of a van?
Is that what I sound like? Yeah.
But like, don't do that. No, you just like, nah, you like, don't do
I would
that.
do that. I would do that in a heartbeat, though. I would get a truck or a van.
VW. And just, like,
Yeah.
haul it.
Yeah, and just do it. But that's why I'm asking for
There's
advice.
a
'cause
train
I mean-
right down the street. We can just.
You got to
Yeah,
get
just
creative.
hop
You
on
got
Yeah,
to
just hop on in.
You just got to figure out a way to survive. Like I said, the carnival was crazy, but
That's
it was
what
a
I'm
way
saying,
I
I
knew
feel
I
like-
could survive. A photographer could do it if they had a good pipeline. A writer could do it, or somebody who was willing to be really ambitious in different cities across.
A
wherever they were
writer
going.
could do it. Yeah, like if they're, I don't know, it's fuck, man.
A writer could do it.
Yeah, they could. If they, especially if they could just like email their projects. and
Writer,
shit.
a good writer could probably turn it into an article and send it into somewhere. You know, like
Yeah.
that. And that's what I always try to do is think outside the box like that. you
Well,
know?
somebody on social media, anybody who does any social media work can go wherever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah, I
Instagram
mean, there's a-
models.
Yeah, I think we're in a day and age right now where we're thinking outside the box more than
Yeah.
I think some people are. You know, like and
I would
obviously
like to do
you
that.
know,
There was like a big uptick. I remember like around like the year 2000, people were like urban camping. You ever like catch on to that? You ever do like, like people would just get tents and like set up like on the street or like in an
yeah,
alley.
no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
They would like
In the
travel,
street.
like not in the street, but like, in alleys or like where homeless people, like homeless camps, and they would just not go camping in the woods. They'd
That
go
is the
camping.
most privileged shit I've ever heard.
Like they would go camping.
I
at,
want to live like a homeless person. No,
Yeah.
you don't. You think
They
they,
would.
chose that?
Yeah, and it was
Come
like totally
on.
fucking weird. It was like the
That
weirdest
is
shit
fucking
ever.
weird.
I liked the fact, like, in the van I had, it had the two doors that opened up, right? And so there was no window on that back wall.
Double, like a side
Yeah,
barn door.
So, so I had this huge bean bags, probably bigger than this table, and then, like I said, a pit bull. And so I could probably even sleep with those doors open, like most of the,
Yeah.
I literally, like, and that's the difference. So I don't know. People ask me, like, I don't know, because I would sleep with the doors open and be like, come on in here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to end, but I don't even really care, right? Like, so
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
just, like,
yeah.
everything
That's him.
about this just gave off that vibe. It was
Yeah.
like, you might even win, but you're not going to get anything. It's
Yeah.
really like, this is not the place. And like I said, and I almost always have
I
a
like
dog.
that. That's a good
You know?
mindset. It's a destructive mindset, but it's a good one.
It is. Well, that's when you put yourself in dangerous situations, you have to, like,
Well, then you can prove to yourself, like, yeah, I can do this.
What can you do? What are
He's-
you
What can you do?
capable of
Yeah.
doing?
He's not afraid of anything. He makes me.
It's a fucked up thing,
Give
but
me
you
that.
know.
Except for mice.
Except for mice, yeah.
I'd rather fight 10
Snakes.
dudes than have a bumblebee land on my shoulder. I swear to God. It's a weird thing, like, and it's a curse too, like to just like not be afraid of like shit like that. It's like,
Yeah.
No, I'd kill for that.
yeah,
I would love that.
I don't know, like
I'm
it's been like
afraid of
it's got me
everything.
in
Me
like,
too.
especially with like bounty hunting, where like people are like, hey, wait a minute, let's chill. I'm like, no, fuck that, we're going in.
Going, it's
You know,
like,
we're
here we
fucking
go,
going
right?
in, and it's dangerous. Like that's a dangerous way to live, and like you said, it's destructive as fuck. But
I don't know any other way.
It
to
is
live.
good,
yeah,
though.
that's and it's
Well,
weird. Like
'cause a lot
that's
of the time people back up if they see you confident.
yeah.
If they're like, this dude knows what he's doing, they're going to be like, I'm not going to fuck with him. And that's it. That's the end of it.
And that's the biggest thing too. Like with comedy, like I said, I'm not afraid of going on stage. I'm more afraid of like the criticism of the material. And now this day and age, I'm more afraid of offending people.
Yeah,
People get offended like super
Easy.
easy.
they do.
So
But see, I don't do
he
politics.
offends
I don't do
You gotta be
religion.
okay with
I
that
don't
as
do
a
any.
comedian, though.
Right now, and even the stuff. It doesn't matter what you do. Lately, I've been telling this joke
Yeah.
about how my dog ate 100 milligram THC a bar, right? And I know that like
And people are immediately like, cruelty.
well, I open up with asking if anybody's from PETA.
Nice.
Like so, and I do a little self-deprecation because people get so mad about everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't experience it as much as other people do because I honestly believe that I'm a really good people person, whether it be a group or individually. I
Yeah.
can talk a psychopath down
Yeah.
just as quick as I can an angry person in a store.
Yeah.
Right? To me, it's all the same thing. It's just de-escalating.
Homeless
shit,
person,
like-
millionaire, whatever.
yeah, and
yeah.
I think even if I, and I'm not as good as definitely as I hope to be, but when on stage, if I see them getting upset about something, I do like to think that I know I never want to do that. I
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
want I don't want a single. Somebody booed me once. I think it was at the dive, and I was telling a story, and I stopped and I said, I said, you're not even booing my material. You're booing me. I told you what I did.
Yeah,
right?
we're not
Like,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even an offensive thing. And I remember them going, I'm sorry. Like, it was like, I don't know. I think if you put the right spin on anything, they're the only time that I've ever been in a fight in my life, and there have been a bunch, is normally alcohol induced or
Yeah.
I am no longer rational. But I have found very few situations in my life that I couldn't diffuse on some level, you know, including dangerous ones, people with weapons or things like that, you know, just...
It's funny when you get booed at the wrong point. Like you're not even to the part that
Not-
you should
that
boo.
they
Yeah.
Like,
get
you know,
mad about,
you're still
right?
setting
This
it up
is
and they're
not
like,
the
boo.
worst
You're like,
part.
fuck, this is
What?
like, wait, just hold on a minute. It gets worse. Like that's where I lost you. Is that the setup?
Wait, Nate, you know, when you go, and we go, just talking more about that comedy and that stuff, like, you know, you go down there and some of these guys, I used to ask people when I first got into town, why are you here?
Yeah.
Right? And it was like the most offensive question. And, you know, because they'd be like, why are you here?
It's a good one.
And they'd be like,
Yeah.
what do you mean, why am I here? And I remember a few of them be like, this is a stupid question. Some of them did not want to answer it. And I'm like, you know what I'm trying to do? Who's here for a hobby? Right? Because I like you, but I want to find the guys who are here to try to do something or who
Yeah.
are willing to teach me something or who are taking this, you know, like, it could easily become a hobby, although I doubt it. You know, I'm always like chasing something. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want this to be a business. I want this to make money. I want to entertain people. I want to, you know, I want it to be a good thing, you know. But, you know, when you talk to these guys and these mics, and like, well, you're hearing like, oh, it's, you know, I don't know, I'm down here practice, you know, and I'm like, oh, fuck no, man, I grab shit by the balls, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, and that's all I was asking was like, who are those guys? We're the ones, you know, and then let alone your material, right? And I think I was talking to a little, like, I'm new, right?
Yeah.
I got, you know, a show at the Mint, and then I'm working on a low-end casino.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you know, you don't even this, you don't even that. I'm like, and I want to retort, you don't know me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I remember when I became an LNA, and the first ass I was wiping, I was already planning on the steps it was going to take to become the director of nursing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like, how do you move forward here? You know?
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, when
That's
people want to see you, like, and I'm okay with paying dues. Paying dues is part of
Paying
everything
dues,
we
you
do.
gotta pay dues, right?
But if you're gonna wait for someone to give you something, you're gonna wait forever because you'll see really fast other entertainers, even any business. No one's gonna say, "Hey, I got something for you." You know, it's too much for me.
They don't give a shit about
Yeah,
it.
it's too much for me. Here, why don't you do this? Or you know, there's guest hosting gigs and shit like that. But no one's gonna give you a room.
No.
No one's gonna say, "Hey, I go to open mics because I'm looking for a dude to host my fucking room." No, that guy doesn't exist. He's not out there. So, and then people see like, "Oh my God, how'd Ralph get that fucking room?" And it's like he went out and got it. Oh, you wanted it? Well, you should have got it before he
Should've
did.
asked him.
You know, so it's
And same with this next one. And I'll tell you what, if the comedy works out for me, which I think it's got a potential. I think it really does. I mean, I'm so comfortable on mics, and I am funny, and I think if I learn to get my material together on those stages, I can do all right. I can make something happen. And I love hosting, you know.
Yeah.
But guess what? If it doesn't, so what?
You still try it.
Like, so what? So, like, what's next? We got, like, everybody has under 100 years. Just max it out at that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't give a fuck how old you're going to be. Just put it at 100. Everybody's got under that. What are you going to do in that time?
so you got your first show at the Mint's done. You did
First
the first
show was done. That went last month.
and then now you're doing one this coming Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday.
And who's there? Who's on
All
it?
right, there's been some changes.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Because I had Penny Poison,
Okay.
Sword Swallower.
Yeah.
And she canceled.
Oh.
So just yesterday. So what I did, and here's the difference, right? Here's the difference. So I took the money that I was going to pay her, and I just split it up with some other comics.
Okay.
I said, hey, you guys want to come down? Because I'm trying to fill that room up. I'm
Yeah.
new, right? That room doesn't. Here's the thing, and you know, if the room doesn't fill, if it doesn't go off, and then it's like, who knows? Who knows? Maybe I won't have the room anymore. But that's why I'm already trying to line something else up.
Yeah.
And I hope people come down to this. I got a vision, you know, that Laugh Vegas is what I call it.
Yeah.
And it's just I want to bring rooms together. There are a lot of comics in town that do a really good job of roasting, or a lot of people talking about political humor or this stuff. That's not me.
Yeah.
You know, I just like for people to come together in a room, laugh, and leave going, wow, that was fucking fun.
Yeah.
That was worth it.
I think
want
people like
everybody
that.
who comes out of that room to feel like they just invested in something that was worth it because it just changed how they feel.
A lot of people don't know what it's like to go to a comedy show.
They don't.
They
They
don't.
really don't.
And then to
right?
go to a really good one where you just spent like 45 minutes like belly laughing, like, you know, like not just like,
Tears. They had Bobby Wayne Stouts was at the last show down at the Mint, him and Tabloid, and you know, and with it, you know, some of the people I knew that had went to it, they said they laughed so hard. You know,
Yeah.
like they had such a good time.
Bobby
They said-
kills.
yeah, Bobby does. I've seen Bobby in a bunch of places, and he always does. Man.
Yeah.
He's such a professional. Like, so when I came into town, I'm looking at the open mic scene, and I see him, and he's got a stage presence. He gets the laughs. He delivers it. The timing is really good. You
Yeah.
know, like I watch all that, and I have not seen anybody watch him going, well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what I mean? And that's the type of humor I want to bring, have other people bring to shows, like leaving people feeling good, you know?
So who do you got?
So this month, we got Alex Ansel.
Kool-Aid.
Yep.
Okay.
And Jocelyn Sharp.
Okay.
And I've added Matt Salt.
I like Matt.
So do I.
Yeah, Matt's good.
And Jay Devon.
Okay.
So that's the lineup for. My DJ. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Is going to be Victor Hernandez.
Nice.
So because the first show I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Right, and we were talking about this the other day. I'm from Boston. I was like, "Hang on, I need another shot at this." You
Yeah.
know, and a lot of it went good, and there was a lot that I learned.
Were they upset with you?
They weren't upset. There was a lot of stuff that did not go well on that show, and part of it was the music situation and some other stuff. So it was learning experience, and also somebody was fucking up pretty good. But either way, so when Penny canceled, and I didn't know what to do about this because I got rid of I didn't get rid of the DJ from last time is no longer a part of the scenario.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, what do I want to do? I said, I want that DJ someone I can banter with.
Yeah.
And I love bantering with.
Yeah.
So Victor's gonna hop in and do it, and
Nice.
and I think that's gonna be fun. And the ultimate thing is I want it's too bad Penny Poison can't make it.
Yeah.
And I'm still not opposed to maybe trying to sneak in another sword swallower magician because the idea for the show is comics with a little break with something different. Last month I had Hula Rev who does hula hoops.
Yeah.
And so she was down there doing that. And this month the idea was to have a sword swallower and or a belly dance, burlesque, like something different just to add a little. I love the
I
idea
like
of
that.
old Vegas. I love the idea of a show that reps like old Vegas. You know,
That's the perfect spot for it.
it is too.
That's
That's
a
why I get
perfect
so
spot.
excited about it.
Man, I'm trying to think what. So you got Victor DJing.
Yeah.
That's funny. Victor's
So me and
great.
him are gonna have some coffee on Sunday morning.
Okay.
And Jay Devon, me and Jay are the one that
You and Jay are doing the other thing,
We're
right?
hoping that, so I'll be able to let that cat out of the bag on Tuesday. And that's one thing I'm trying to learn in the comedy world is because I'm so ambitious and I'm such an open book, which, I was talking to a friend the other day, and it was like, that's why people love and hate me, I think, at the same time. It's like he's a bull. He's just like loud. He's aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's on the other hand, it's like, he's not really hiding anything. He's just telling you exactly what he's trying to do and what he's up to.
Transparent,
Yeah, I'm pretty
no-
transparent,
yeah.
which can be scary. Like if you've heard, those are some of the stories we've heard today. Like a completely transparent Ralph can scare some people. But
We've done rooms.
just
We
love
did
life.
rooms where everything went right and they didn't want us back.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, you were talking about that.
Like,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck do you want? Like, what more do you want? And it's just like, that was like, we did that one last month and it was like great. And then I thought it was going to be a weekly thing and they were like, no, we're kind of done. And I was like,
The one thing I'm trying to do now is do monthly shows. The
Yeah.
other thing I'm hoping is going to be twice a month. But I want to build a following. I want the Vegas comedians, if they start liking me, cool. The real thing I want is Vegas patrons. I want the customers of the city to enjoy the show. I want to put something together that make my name out here. I really do. This city is such a good city for that. People
dude,
get
we
lazy
ran.
in
We
the
went. We were trying to go an hour. We were almost 2.5 hours. Yeah.
I shut up. I shut up on here, and then I go out my car and start talking.
I'm only gonna wrap it up. I'm only wrapping up because I got to get somewhere. But no, Ralph, thanks for coming in, hanging out with us.
Guys,
And,
stop by the Mint if you get a chance Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
7:30. It's the price is it's $10 and it comes with a drink.
So for that $10, you get a drink.
$10, you're getting a drink and a heck of a lineup of comedians.
That's a good
Tuesday night
lineup
at
for
the
sure.
Mint. It really is. Alex is from the Treasure Island, right? And Jocelyn over there. They're both at that LA Comedy Club regularly. So these guys.
Yeah, and they both just did like the thing at the end that Brandon's doing.
Yep.
So, no, Ralph, thanks for hanging out. Micah, thanks for popping in.
Thanks for having me.
And we lost Popeye, but we gained Dana. And thanks for listening.
This has been a blast.